Welcome to Geoff on Golf's PGA Championship Extravaganza. And here is your host, Geoff Fienberg.
What up, friends? We are back. We are running it back. The props extravaganza. This time, the PGA Championship at Aronimink. At this pace, I guess if I'm doing it for the PGA Championship, safe to assume we'll be back for the U.S. Open and the Open Championship. Gauntlet of guests, gauntlet of props. Listen, we crushed it at the last time. At the last one, Matt Gannon's 50-1 dual forecast winner got it done for us. But welcome, Geoff's PGA Championship props extravaganza, the Geoff on Golf. Guess we can retire that. Props extravaganza. Looking forward to it. The beauty of, I guess, the non-Masters majors, and of course we haven't been to him forever, is there are lots of people sort of charting their own path, choosing their own adventure. You know, the plotters, the bombers. That's the conversation to be had. Course conditions, all the fun. We'll get through all of it in the next little bit, but why waste any time? Let's load it right up, Jay. My guy, Pat Mayo, at the PME. Hordes of content he's been putting out all week. His own very own prop special just dropping today. Go check that out. I did an outright pick show with him every day. Something new coming from the PME, and we'll be getting together. I just want to pump this, Jason. Later in the week, I'll be live with Pat Thursday night for that schedule drop. That is like injected straight into the veins. Almost a couple of freaks who are hardcore fans and they're like just need their hard drug NFL hit, I think is what it takes to do a live schedule show, but it's one of our most fun shows of the year. Maybe this show can be fun. Pat, what's going on, buddy? Let's give her PGA Championship props extravaganza. You are like Ricky Henderson leading off again.
I thought you were going to do your ad read to kick things off like last time, and I was going to interrupt you just so you could feel my pain, but alas, you smartly did not do that.
No, I'll get to that shortly. A lot of golf excitement, but we'll let the people know about Dinger Tuesday over at FanDuel. I'm here with you, Pat. I'll get to your prop, I guess, in a moment, but we could start this thing off by saying you have bet Scottie Scheffler to win. You, like others, like myself, have some great futures, so it created this opportunity, maybe one, the perfect opportunity, I guess, to take Scheffler when you've got the big picks at the back. The only other time I can remember you taking Scheffler would maybe be a U.S. Open, which he didn't win, and the Olympic gold medal. So as Scottie Scheffler as the chalk, I feel like you're about 50% on this. How'd you get there?
I just looked at the course, and what Rory said today, leaves me a bit like, oh, that's not the greatest thing I wanted to hear. But the way that this course has been set up, that it does feel like there is a premium from playing out of the fairway, and there's a premium on iron control and pretty good putting around the green play. Like that, you're going to have to do that stuff, but that stuff is far less predictable than anything else. And I started to think like, hey, and we talked about this, Seb Straka, Siwoo Kim, Russell Henley, like these are all a type of player that has an opportunity to win a PGA Championship this week. However, Scottie Scheffler is by far the best version of that player. Now, if this turns into a bomb and gouge fest, then Rory, then Rahm, then Bryson, all these guys. And I mean, Cam Young is probably the closest to Scottie in this regard. It's just he doesn't happen to hit his irons as consistently or as good as most of these top end players. He's more this year been very good with his irons, but excellent with his driver, excellent with his putter. That is why he has propelled himself near the top of the list. Fitz is probably actually the one that's closest to Scottie in terms of how this comes up. Fortunately, we got that big juicy future on Fitz. We don't have to worry about him at this point. So if it plays to how I think it will, and not how Rory thinks it's going to play, that Rory thinks he can bomb and gouge this place to death. And he said that the primary defense is going to be the putting, where you want to leave yourself below the hole. You need to be on the right quadrant of the green. I just find that hard to believe that he can bomb and gouge that and control his wedge play, iron play, chipping play from out of this rough. Not that it's the most penal rough, But if you don't have the ability to control your trajectory and your spin, I just don't know how you get the ball close to the hole on some of these greens. So I'm taking the guy who has the most distance with the most accuracy and is finally starting to be rejuvenated with his iron game. He was down a stroke per round with his irons, not per tournament, per round. 4 strokes worse on approach per tournament for the first 3 months of the year. And then whatever happened to him in the 3rd round at the Masters, it clicked back in, and all of a sudden, Scotty again. He didn't show that at Doral because he didn't putt and he didn't chip, which has been a weird abnormality for him. Not that you rely on him to be the best putter on the field, but for the past 2.5 years, he's been one of the best with the flat stick. So I just look at how this works out. I get that it's a field of 156, but it's not really a field of 156. It's a field of, minus 20 because there's 20 PGA professionals. Maybe Michael Block makes the cut. Maybe when some other goober ends up getting there. So you have 18 dead fish. You have a bunch of seniors. They're all dead fish. There's a couple guys from Live and the Tour that are dead fish. You can essentially cross out 40-ish players to miss the cut right away. So essentially, it's a 120-man field at a course that seems like it was specifically designed for Scotty Scheffler. So we're getting him at 5-1, 4.5-1. If you watched our show, and you can tune into that on Mayo Media Network, I got a 6-1 for you out there. Just follow me on the PME. You will find out where that is. Shout out to my good friends in Canada, but not in Ontario, like myself, that I can get you 6-1 on Scotty Scheffler. And you're probably going to want to take this, but weren't you surprised that the odds were as high as they were?
A little bit. Obviously, I'm still tempted. I'm sort of paralyzed. I have not made an outright bet this week yet. I just have my future positions, and I'm waiting for boosts and bonuses before I guess I bet any more money into this tournament. But let me ask you, because you mentioned the Rory comments. Coming from Rory, though, is he the most reliable person we should take advice from this on? That might sound weird to say, but doesn't he just go and bomb and gouge all of these venues? Like, isn't that always his strategy? I showed him show up to my course. So, like, he just wanted to bomb and gouge it. I'm not comparing a Canadian Open to a major championship, but I just feel like where doesn't he go where he's just going to do that?
I kind of agree with you. I don't think that he's reliable on this. I think that is what he is going to do. But as we've seen, be it in any sport, I mean, golfers are the worst for this because each of them possesses such a different skill set. But whenever you ask an athlete, they don't necessarily give you the best answers to this sort of stuff. Like if Matt Fitzpatrick, the guy who logs every single one of his shots for the past 15 years in a notebook and is highly analytical, not that Rory isn't at all analytical, but he has a certain skill set. Why would he deviate from that when he's won 6 major championships? I understand that part of it. And maybe he is going to be proven to be correct, that is going to be the optimal strategy. And if it is the optimal strategy, the Bryson drift is like, ooh, okay. Maybe all of a sudden at 25-1, Bryson's a real contender here. I don't think that he's correct on this. I think that you're just, unless he bombs it and hits every fairway, which just doesn't seem to be something that he's going to do, that I just think there are too many people in this field with a skill set that can play here, that even the average driver should all have like 150 to in on most holes. Like, why risk not hitting it in the fairway when he can hit 5 wood is longer than Colin Morikawa can hit his driver?
I'm not going to fight you on any of that. Before we do get to your prop, one more tease. You did sort of put something out there when selling Scotty. You put Liv in like the tier after the PGA pros and the seniors and the defending champions. Do you really, like, what are your honest opinions of, like, you don't think Liv can win this thing?
I think Liv can win this thing, but I think that there are guys in the field, the back end of Liv are just as bad as some of the, like the back end PGA guys that are in this field, and the back end DP guys that I don't think they have a chance to make the cut. I'm not saying that Bryson, Rahm, and Hatton, and your boy Thomas Peters or Thomas Dietrich, whichever one it is this time around.
Peters is contemplating retirement.
Yeah, well, you like guys from Belgium. This is what we know. And listen,
Shocking.
Neiman's over 100-1. Like, these guys are live to win this tournament, but then you have like Elvis Smiley at the back. Like, come on now.
Sorry. You meant, okay, the back of the Liv train. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. I won't be able to get out of this week without something with Neiman. All right, Pat, let's go. Sell us on your favorite prop as it sits now for the PGA Championship.
So normally I would come on here and give you a 9-1, but I guess sort of like my 5.5 to 1, 6 to 1 Scotty Scheffler to win is kind of that. But if you want, I don't want to say a lock because I don't like using the word lock. But if you go to the low Austrian market, there are 2 players in that market. One of those players is good. The other one, not so hot. Seb Straka minus 225 in a head-to-head with your main man, former member of the final group of a PGA Championship almost 10 years ago, recently won on the DP World Tour, former live player, Bernd Wiesberger is this head-to-head. Like, what would you cap that head-to-head at? If it wasn't listed as low Austrian, they just gave you a straight-up head-to-head. Straka, who's a top 15 player in the world, and Wiesberger, who's an old dude who couldn't cut it on live. Like, what would you set that at?
I mean, sold. I didn't know. I was expecting a bigger number than 220 to come out of your mouth for that.
I would have thought minus
at least 3. Like Burn versus Straka. If you just told me blindly they were playing anything that they exempted Burned into and they were a weekend pairing, yeah, I think that'd be like 283 for sure. Like that would be my guess, and maybe that's conservative. I don't like to think I'm smarter than the book though, but might have gotten something here quick, Pat.
It's not that you're smarter than the book. It's that they just don't care about these markets. They're like, it sounds like eventually it gets to, I think they listed them at minus 500. They're like, well, no one's going to take this action. I was actually able to parlay that together with low Japanese player. Hideki was even money as low Japanese player. And that was essentially against Ryo Hitsatsune and 2 guys no one has ever heard of.
A little tease down the road, someone is using Hideki low Japanese in a parlay. So you're not the first person to run that strategy by me.
But those two together,
those
2 together pay almost 2 to 1. You can add Noren, low Scandinavian, 9 to 1. Scotty, top 5, plus 120. All of a sudden, you're up to like 20 to 1. We're good.
I really like what you gave me here. And I haven't had the tickle like this since Zach Johnson's low senior at the PGA. I mean, at the Masters. So, okay, yeah.
Now,
the week might get expensive now.
Listen, Wiesberger did win about a month ago on DP. He has 5 top 20 finishes in his past 6 starts, again, on the DP World Tour. And at this current moment, like the Joe Berg Open isn't drawing the biggest names right now.
I mean, you sold me just by telling me the number. I wasn't even sure who the other Austrian was. I was like waiting in mystery for the second name there.
You thought it was going to be a Rory Sabatini situation where it was like a formerly of a different country and some guy was like, no, I'm playing under the Austrian flag now.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out who I couldn't even think who the other Austrian was. And shout out to Byrne, like you mentioned, nice little resurgence in the last little bit. To your point, this seems like a different animal, and there's a potential that it plays right into Sep's wheelhouse, and I don't know any wheelhouse that it could play into for Byrne.
Basically, if Byrne wins this, then he's just making putts, and he doesn't really do that all that often.
All right.
Like awesome. You could win this bet with both guys missing the cut.
Oh yeah, of course. Absolutely. All right, Pat, there it is. A little juice. We'll take some pulp to start, but I mean, this seems like some well-advised pulp. I'm in.
And listen, Scotty top 5 at plus 120. Like very rarely do you see that plus sign in front of Scotty in a top 5. It's usually a big old minus. So you can take that into consideration. I will be back this evening, very late with Keith Stewart, who's at the course for the final word on the PGA Championship. Me, you, and Custer live twice on Thursday night. PGA Championship recap. You mentioned the NFL schedule release show. It'll be all available on the podcast feeds as well. Then we got the Cut Sweat. If you want to come and hang, you got nothing to do on Friday afternoon. Come hang out with myself, Jeff, Cust. We're just going to be watching the broadcast, hanging. It's like when Pizzola does those watch-alongs, but it has us, so it's like way more entertaining.
Yeah. And you're not getting like great...
Did I get the laugh from the background?
Yeah, you got one. It was delayed for me. As a host, you sort of just want to get your next line out, and that one registered a little later. But no, we have a lot of fun, and if you're sweating your fantasy games, what have you, get it over the line. Nothing like a Friday afternoon sweat to try to get yourself a 6 for 6, or that guy you bet top 20 just to make the cut for your weekend dream. Always a fun blast on Fridays.
Or in my newsletter on Wednesday, I will release the official to make the cut parlay. I have it out. I have two versions of it. One of them is like 90 to 1. The other one's 170 to 1. And we've won these before. So, pay attention to that. It's not like it costs you anything. Well, it costs you the money to bet on it. But to see it, it will cost you nothing. Substack, Mayo Media, you can find it in the description of all my shows. So go check that out now.
Let's go. Thank you, Pat. As he mentioned, I got a lot of...
This is fun. I have no expectation. I can just sit here and keep talking, and I'll cut you off. This is great. I get it now. This is great.
Anytime you want, keep giving her. It does make sense. Unfortunately, you didn't say anything like too crazy where I could have someone here like cut it up into something even out of context and make you look dumb. But I guess I do that to myself, and you're not going to
give me 20 minutes. I can jump back on. I can fresh up some takes here if you want.
Anytime you want to fly back in, you're always welcome. Just show up out of nowhere, cut me off. It's probably deserved. Thank you, Pat. We'll be live a ton, I guess. My week with Pat is sort of hasn't barely begun. Check out our show. We already did previewing this whole thing, but you're watching this, and cut sweats, schedule release, all of it. Thanks,
and
Pat.
Don't forget to tell the people to sub and smash the like while they're here.
Sub and smash the like. Yes, these are sort of tips I should be getting from behind the glass. I have more experience. Tim might be a better host than me, though.
First of all, the throwing me under the bus is crazy. Number two, what do we have coming up next on this channel?
Dinger Tuesday.
No, not that, but it's okay. I was just going to say every day here on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel, you can catch the Hammer Daily with myself behind the boards. Geoff comes on. Geoff might be on tomorrow. Good show. Daily show. Tons of sports. Tons of action.
Okay, we'll see.
But do you talk about the big arch burger ever and how many points that cost you on the McDonald's app?
No, but I would love
to. This is what you're missing out on.
I would love to.
But this is another person who doesn't use the apps because he's afraid to give an email.
I don't want.
Why don't you just set up a dummy email? What's wrong with you?
See?
Set up create your own email where all this stuff goes. It's like when Cust wouldn't take his credit card online. It's like, go get one of those like Goober $500 credit cards.
It's not about
that even if someone steals your information, no big deal.
It's not even about the email. It's just I don't want them knowing my stuff. Like when I go onto Google Maps to come into work every day, it knows that I'm coming into work. It suggests that I start a route there, even though I've never plugged in this office to on Google Maps. They just know. I don't want them to know about my life.
Okay. Well, it sounds like they already know about your life. Have you thought about that?
Well, you win. Fine.
All right. Pat, let's go. Sepp Straka, minus 220. Low Austrian. 225.
But let's not rip people off for 5 cents here.
No, I didn't mean to that's...
You're making me seem like I'm giving out lines that don't exist, Geoff. This ain't no good.
Yeah, no, that's another show. Okay, let's give her. Pat, thank you. Thank you very much, buddy. We'll see you later in the week.
See ya.
Props Extravaganza continues. Coming up next, my guy from BetSperts, Ryan Noonan. Rye, what's going on? I guess we'll get it out of the way quickly because you're pretty good at this. I assume you, like many others, are sitting with a wonderful futures portfolio this week. So if you want to get that, we can set the record straight there.
I'm not. First of all, Pat's on one today, huh? Even for Pat, it seemed like dialed. The caffeine or something was going on today.
He just recorded with Cam, so he's just probably worked up. He was worked up, hot in the chair.
Happened. You get on with Cam for an hour, and you're definitely dialed. Yeah, you know what? I don't have a dynamic futures card, Geoff. I wish I did. You and I touch on this all the time and try to see if we can find anything that's floating out there for long. I, like many, have a larger than currently active Cam Young number. I do not have a full-on Cam Young slappy number, right? If you were just blindly betting Cam for years, you might have an 80 or 150 or something crazy. We have some guys in our Discord, BetSperts Golf, that have triple-digit Cam numbers. I do not. I've been chipping away at it through bonuses and whatnot. So basically all in net at 27 on Cam, which feels pretty good compared to where we are currently.
Things are going well now, but yeah, you reminding me that was listen, we've cashed the train, but yeah, listen, it's been a while since, there was shrapnel for Cam Young slappies, but I was one, and I guess, we're sitting here. Not the triple-digit hardos, though.
Yeah. What's your Cam number?
I have 80. Sorry, 70 and 70, and one of them is like a boosted.
Okay.
One of them is boosted. I also did that for the U.S. Open, so that's like just in front of a triple digit there. But I've got Big Cam, Big Fitz, Big Ricky. Let's move on. Enough about me. I
had some others that went the other way. I took shots in the early part of the season on Jake Knapp. That didn't work out so well. Chris Gotterup and Jacob Bridgman, and those numbers are worse than what's available out there at particular books today.
I swear, were you not the person who told me that this place was kind of like Bay Hill, or am I making that up?
I thought that there was some Bay Hill, Oak Hill comps. We definitely talked about that. I don't know if I was the first.
Because I think that's what led me to betting Fitz. Was just hearing this place might be a little like Bay Hill, and his number was really big.
Yeah, the par 70 piece is a little different. That's hard. That's what's tough when we're trying to like model some stuff too. We just have so few examples of difficult par 70 tracks. I don't even know that we're going to get a difficult scoring situation. Like that's actually part of it too. I know I just saw on the timeline before I hopped in, this gentleman is wise beyond his years, is Byron with his highlighted score number that I think you're going to have someone probably run away with a probably pretty decent number here. So I don't even know that we have difficult scoring.
Yeah, he's on next. So
yeah,
you just
sharp guy, handsome guy.
Very, very sharp guy.
Yeah.
Pretty methodical as well. Which, listen, if you met him on a Friday night, you wouldn't think he's methodical. But
no, we've done that too.
You talk to him about his golf bets, his bets in general. Like, whoa, it's a pretty methodical guy. All right, Ryan, let's go, buddy. Lay it on us. Favorite prop, PGA Championship.
Favorite prop for the PGA Championship is going to be, let me see what one of the two that I gave you. We're staying with Rory McIlroy. Give me Rory McIlroy plus 380. I'm not going to come in here and lay minus 220. I don't know what that's all about, but plus 380, Rory top Euro. I think he probably wins this golf tournament. If Cam doesn't, if we can get another final Rory Cam battle, I would absolutely be delighted. I think we all expected a little bit more than what we saw last week at Quail. But at the same time, like I think he played really good golf. Like he lost 1.5 shots off the tee on one water ball on 14 on Sunday. Otherwise, his ball striking numbers were right in line with like Nikolai for the week and with Wrighton was for the week. I think this is a guy where we look at like strokes gained, bounce in his step, strokes gained like vibes matter for I think Rory more than anyone. And I think he's telling us that like post Masters bump that we thought we would get last year after he won and he was freed up mentally. Didn't really come to pass, but I feel like it's coming to pass now. And if we get in a spot where we get really low on Thursday, it plays soft, and he's telling us today in his presser that there is really no strategy off the tee, it's send it and figure it out. Well, I mean, over his past 24 rounds, his approach numbers are up basically a half shot over his last 50 rounds. He's giving himself more looks inside 15 feet than almost anyone in the field in like the 100 to 175 bucket. And he's been really good in difficult putting setups. When you look at difficult to gain, high 3-putt rates, I have Rory like third in this field. So we know he could putt. He putted well at Donald Ross, Pinehurst number 2, putts well, big slopey greens at Augusta every year. I just like his 950 number to win the golf tournament. And I like him both to top 10 at plus 105 on FanDuel and plus 380 top Euro here on FanDuel as well.
You're probably betting him to win.
I did.
2 majors to start the year. That's pretty rarefied air, but it's sort of the same amateur psychologist role a lot of us failed at going into the Masters thinking.
And we want form, Jeff, right? We want form, but then you win, and we just can't consider you.
And he's doing this beautiful thing. Like, I love this new Rory approach where I'll miss an elevated just to go hit up the next major venue.
Correct.
And I know, like, that's a pretty casual complaint, as we saw, like, got some steam after the Masters. I don't know. I think, like, this Rory phase of his career, I think we're going to see more of that.
Totally agree. I think the top of the board's winning, to be honest. And this allows me to basically get some Rory without
But you
Scotty
said,
and Cam.
be quick. I'm going to kick you out here. But
Yeah.
you said Rory or Cam, and you almost like ignored Scott. You ignored Scotty.
No, I'm not ignoring Scotty, but I bet Rory and Cam. Those are my two like top of the board outrights. I wanted to bet Scotty. I thought coming into the week I'd bet Scotty, Jeff, but then the prices and then just basically we shouldn't have Rory twice Scotty, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Although some Scotty people would say the Scotty numbers are better than they thought too.
Totally agree. I thought maybe we'd get to, when Pat and I did the preview show last week, I thought we'd maybe get to 6, and we've kind of hung around at like 480 and change. It's not great.
All right, B.
Good to see you, buddy.
Let's go, Ryan. Your boy, we can't leave the genius waiting in the lobby any longer.
I can't wait this gentleman's such a good dude. He's coming up here to Chicago for my birthday. We're going to be golfing here in a couple of weeks together.
I'm jealous.
Come on down, Jeff. You know, we need to fill the foursome. So yeah, I'm excited to get on course and watch this guy, pound drives against me in a couple of weeks.
Oh, he pounds drives and he'll pound the beers. And then you'll ask him about some data point in golf and he'll like sound like a professor. So there it is.
Yeah. Enjoy, boys.
All right, let's go. The train keeps moving on here. Before we get to our boy, the Model Maniac, let's let you know it is Dinger Tuesday. Jeff on Golf is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, big hits get even bigger with Dinger Tuesdays on FanDuel. Customers choose their own reward every Tuesday to use on home run bets. How will you play your game? Option 1, the bet reset. Use this on your wager and you get refunded in bonus bets if your bet loses. That would be me. Option 2, a 50% profit boost. Make your bet activate the profit boost, and if it hits, that's extra winnings at no extra cost. I mean, I'll probably lose, so I'll take the refund. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready to use on your next home run bet.
Shohei Ohtani's pretty good today in terms of best price in market. So if you want to use your 50% profit boost on that at plus 235 over on FanDuel, you can do that.
I'm happy you came in for the save because I was about to Ron Burgundy. It says host mentions a few favorites, teams, players. I'd have mentioned some golfers. Just visit FanDuel.com/
forward progress
to choose your reward for home run bets every Dinger Tuesday. Play ball with the home run for home runs on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. 21 select states. 18 plus in DC, Kentucky, Wyoming, opt-in required rewards, non-withdrawable restrictions will apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-800-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. Chat, Connecticut. Jesus. MD Gaming Help in Maryland. Visit Jason.
gamblinghelplinema.org. I don't have it in front of me.
Call 1-800-1877-HOPE-NY.
Or text
HOPE-NY New York. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana.
Yeah, there you go.
Jesus. Last time I did it, I was proud of myself. And I read it beforehand. This time, whatever.
That's honestly, I'll take the blame for that.
No,
one.
I
didn't send it. No, I didn't send it to you beforehand. That's on me.
God willing, never mind. I don't want to say that.
Yeah, no. Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue. I have a novelty prop on you to like freak out.
Sorry, I gotta go. I gotta get Byron in here.
Right.
I like Byron enough. At least he didn't have to. I can't believe he had to watch that. Look at this. What was your favorite part? What was your favorite part?
All of it. I have to cut those promos for my show on Fantasy Golf Degenerates, and I can pre-record it, and I hate doing the pre-recordings even. Like the
oh no, we love the promos.
Woo!
Okay, yeah. I was not ready. I should have been more ready for that. All right, B, let's go. PGA Championship. Fired up. Aronimic.
All
It's
right.
fun. Go to places we haven't been in a while. And then I feel like the smart part of the room, the part of the room that you are in, I'm in the slower reading group, half of the room. as you just saw, it seems. You guys sort of, like, is it, I don't know how to put this, but, like, it is now this, like, smart guy contest of, like, correctly guessing how the event will play, right?
Yeah, that's the beauty of these rotational major venues, right? Is like trying to figure out what's going to cook. I use my little micro model where you go hole by hole, and it looks like we're going to have nine wedges for Rory, Bryson, and those kind of guys, which is not a typical PGA setup. I think I went through some prior PGAs, and I think about 33% wedge rate inside 150 was like the highest one we've had in the last 5 years. So the guys that are hitting Nuki long iron plays, they're going to have a little less chance to really flex what they're good at. So they're going to have to make sure they can dial in the wedges and take care of business in that department. But this week, 15 of his last 16 majors have been a top 20. You can get him at FanDuel at minus 130. You can shop around for a little bit of a better number if it's floating on a river somewhere out there. And Xander Schauffele has done fantastic work in majors. He just steps up in these situations, and the only handicap here is 15 of his last 16 have been top 20s. T28 when he missed it at Quail Hollow last year.
And last year battling a bit of the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his major CV is as impressive as anybody's in terms of the placing, right? And if you've just been betting Xander placings and, you know, ignoring the fancy outright market, although you're up pretty good if you've been in a Xander major rider over the last couple, he clipped a few. Seems like the safest bet around, right? The only thing I can think of is like too safe. Not too safe as in it's going to like just like at some point the pendulum's got to flip, but it's Xander Schauffele, and you're not even concerned about how shit he was playing last week, as we spoke about.
Well, it's over this period of time. What's the last 16 majors? That's 4+ years. You know, like 15 of the last 16, whatever. 4 years. I mean, he's totally cool. I think he's played worse golf coming into the week. It is what it is. So I'm not too concerned there. I think he's just got the mentals. Majors are mental, Geoff. You know, you can have the game coming in, but if you can't translate that to the golf course, because I think it's a big moment for a lot of these guys, this is child's play for Xander nowadays. He just loves to show up. Yeah, he's done this forever. You know, like this is like almost a decade of him doing this kind of stuff now.
Can I ask which good player you're fading this week?
Bryson to miss the cut, plus 280 out there.
Now.
Heyo. So yeah, I think
let's go. 280.
Yeah. I just don't see
more.
him. Well, that's just where I could get it. I'm sure you shop around a little bit. I think that's something that you can look at. Justin Thomas as well. I think everyone thinks he's back playing good golf. Major golf, he doesn't drive the ball well enough to take advantage of what's going to need to be done this week with the wedges. He's a very good wedge player, but I think he's going to be hitting a lot of wedges from the rough, which is going to leave you with pars. You know, I don't think you can make that many birdies out the rough this week. Kind of like Rory said, though, you can just launch the drivers, but I think what he's kind of getting at, and Matt Fitzpatrick said it too, you can just carry these bunkers. 7 of the 14 driver holes, bunkers aren't even in play for these top guys. They're just going to send it over them, and you know, that just makes the fairways bigger. So, you know, it's a driving accuracy venue, but the guys that have distance should hit more fairways than normal because they can fly these traps and make the fairways bigger for themselves.
So it's a loaded question, but are you leaning more like bombers or plotters?
I'm leaning both. You know, if I've got an outright on Colin Morikawa 40-1. He's top 5 in wedge play. He's top 10 in driving accuracy, and he's one of the best bent grass putters on the PGA Tour right now. So if you've seen Colin from 125, he's going to outdo Bryson from 80 every single day. And, you know, he's putting very good on bent. You know, putted well at the Masters, putted well at the Rocket last year, you know, those kind of places on bent grass. So I love him in that department. And I'll give you one more, Geoff. Russell Henley looking for his 6th top 10 in a major in 8 starts, plus 400. Ties paid in full on FanDuel.
Fascinating. Is it firm and fast enough for Russ?
It doesn't have to be. He's like Colin. He's just such a good assassin with these wedges. Even if he's 20 to 30 yards behind everyone, a top 20 bet is totally cool. Maybe he doesn't have the distance to like win it, but he finished third at the Masters last major, man.
I had him. I was on that.
Yeah. So love Russell this week.
Yeah, and that's the fun part. It feels like it's a choose your own adventure, but all the sort of player prototypes feel like there's a path for them this week.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun one.
Awesome, Byron. Always.
Any more ad reads for you, Geoff?
No, I'm gonna that for at least this hour. That's and you know what? I won't even give the time of the next one because that'll have to be an Easter egg for if people want some entertainment.
Awesome. No, thanks for having me on. Go check out Fantasy Golf Degenerates on Mayo Media if you guys are not doing that. I'll be on there later at 3 Eastern as well, doing my own show, Back 9 Bets. Appreciate you having me on, Geoff.
Byron at the Model Maniac, always such great information that he gives us. Always appreciate him dropping in and joining. One of my favorites. From Byron to Blickle. Here we go. He can't hear me? Is that what I'm getting?
We'll give us a second here. Should be able to hear us.
You got me now, Alex? We can just
maybe we can mention the bets so far on the show.
Okay, yeah, we'll just go through that. Pat Mayo starting us off with a little pulp. Sepp Straka, low Austrian, minus 220, followed up by Ryan Noonan taking Rory McIlroy, top Euro. I believe, what did we get there? Plus 380 on that one. Byron just came in here with, just ripped that single right back through the pitcher's nutsack, up the middle. Xander Schauffele, minus 120 on that one. For the T20, does seem pretty safe. That major CV, it'd almost be like a surprise at this point if Xander didn't pull it off. I don't know. How we doing, Jay?
Oh, you should be able to hear us. Let's see.
Oh,
yeah,
I can hear you.
Him. We can hear him.
Yeah, log out, come back in. We'll do this one. Alex is pretty familiar with this venue as he's up in the area there. So I'm actually really curious what he is going to give us on the prop front. I know on the way out there, Byron might have mentioned a couple players who I feel like Alex always gets tickled by. Henley, Morikawa, that player type. PGA Championship at Aronimink. After Blickle, we'll have Sia Nejad. After Sia, we'll have Ryan Baroff. So the fun continues here through this hour. 3 props, more coming. I don't know what we make of. We've had 2 guests, and one of them, doesn't really care much for Rory's comments, and the other one reads into it a lot as a player who always just wants to rip that driver. I am paralyzed by what I'm supposed to do with my outrights because of my futures.
I ask you the same question every single week, Geoff, whenever there's a golf event on.
Yeah, what?
Why shouldn't I use my boost on Scotty Scheffler?
You could use your boost on Scotty Scheffler. I mean, someone's already come on and told us he's going to win. I don't know that I'm going to bet Scotty Scheffler. Alex, you got me?
No, yes, I do.
All right, friend. Good. This event, is it kind of in your backyard this week at Aronimink?
It very much is in my backyard, yeah. Philly guy, Golf Association of Philadelphia, basically like my whole life. And played this course a while ago in competition. And it's funny, it's like when I think back to how I felt about the course when I played it I think it was probably the Philadelphia Open or something like that, 9-10 years ago. It was like this very intimidating, long golf course. And that's just not how it is for these guys on tour. And it's not how I would view it if I played it today, but it's still challenging. It's still a really great golf course. It's just going to be a lot of wedges for these guys.
So there does not seem to be many approach shots like north of 180 yards. Like last week, it felt like they had a lot more of that at Quail, no?
Yes, that's exactly right. It's going to be there are a number of holes where I think a lot of the field won't hit driver, maybe not a ton of those holes, but when guys are hitting driver and even some of the holes where they're, hitting 3-wood to stay in front of a bunker at 305 or something like that, it's still going to be wedges and maybe, 9 irons, 8 irons, some 7 irons for the longer guys. But yeah, it's a very, very different test from Quail Hollow.
And do you have a player prototype preference?
Yes, I do. I think one of the things we see on all Donald Ross courses is you get a little bit of an emphasis on driving accuracy off the tee instead of distance. You get a big emphasis on approach play, and then you get a big de-emphasis on around the green play. And I think we're going to see that here, and we can talk a little bit about why that is if you'd like. I don't know how nerdy you want to get on course fit stuff, but I love that stuff, and I think Aronimink is like a prototypical awesome Donald Ross course. I think he's called it his absolute masterpiece.
So that in and of itself just leads you to believe that it's a week for the accuracy in shot makers.
Yeah, and it's one of those weeks where it's not even that you're not going to have to rely on your short game at times. It's that when you miss these greens, the thing to understand about these greens is they play a lot smaller than they actually are because the greens are very segmented. They've got a lot of these spines running through them, and the big effect there, number one, is if you're able to hit it into the right segment of the green, you're going to have really good looks for birdie. If you don't hit it into the right segment of the green, you might have a 20-foot putt that you have no chance of making because it's up a ridge, then down a ridge, and sliding, 6 feet to the right, things of that nature. So you've got to actually hit the ball close to have makeable putts. But then from the short game standpoint, it means your ability to get up and down is not going to be about how good you are with your short game. It's going to be, did you leave yourself in the right spot where you can now use that segmentation of the greens to your advantage because you have a bit of a backstop, or it's you're chipping into the uphill part of the green, or did you put yourself in a spot where there's no chance you can hit the best shot you possibly can from where you are, and you're going to be 12 feet from the pin? And so that just takes some of that short game signal and turns it into extra approach signal, because now approach play isn't just about giving yourself opportunities. It's also about controlling your misses so that you can actually get up and down when you do miss.
Okay, there's a lot there, but now my head is spinning because am I actually going to flood the zone then this week with some of those outrights north of 50, some of those juicy shot maker numbers, which is against how I like to bet major championships. Okay.
Well, the one thing I'll say about that is, as you talk about a golf course fitting accuracy and who can consistently hit their irons really well and just hit their spot over and over again, the problem with going down the board to those iron specialists who maybe can't win a US Open because they don't have the distance is this is also a perfect golf course for Scotty Scheffler. So if you are going down the board, you're now betting against Scotty as a great course fit.
Oh yeah, I'm paralyzed. You know what? It's so fun, and this is such a dumb thing to say. I'm paralyzed by having great futures. That's all, because I don't know, whatever. Let's get into what people want. People don't need to hear what's in my head. They want to hear, Alex, what is your favorite prop here? I know you were considering getting pretty freaking spicy for a prop. You're taking it to the next level. I don't know if you reined it in or you could just sell me on everything you got.
Well, yeah, I'll give you two. I'll give you one calmer one and then go to the outright. The first one, Sepp Straka, top 10. And I am very much not somebody who talks about geographical locations, but I do think it's worth mentioning the fact that he won at Philly Cricket, because I think it's a very similar golf course in the sense that when you look at the course, it's not a distance test. It's a wedge test. And why is it a wedge test? Because the green complexes are the defense of the golf course, and it's about hitting the right segment of the greens. The Philly Cricket greens and the Aronimink greens are very similar in the sense that they play smaller than they are, and you're hitting into this segment of the green, and one guy might have a 15 putt on the correct level in the right segment. The other guy might have a 10-foot putt in the incorrect segment, and the guy with the 15-foot putt has a significantly better chance of actually holing it. And so I like that aspect of it for Straka, and he's just, he's exactly the type of player I'm looking for. He's more accurate off the tee than he is long off the tee. He's an outstanding irons player. And then if you think of a weakness in Sep's game, it is his around the green play, which probably won't matter as much this week as it does on many weeks on tour.
Love it. We've gotten the other end of the Sep spectrum, which was Mayo came in here and gave him low Austrian at -225, which against Burn doesn't feel like, if you price that weekly, that's might be a good number. And you're giving us not quite ceiling Sep, but close to it. And in like 30 seconds or less, if you've got an outright you love this week and you want to drop on me, let's give her.
Yeah, let's go Morikawa, and he's actually rating really well for me in the top 20 market, top 10 market. But the reason I like the outright is because the outright is where his injury concern just matters the least. Because number one, like, I think there's a good chance that he's gotten healthier. One of the things I really liked about what he said after the Masters was that it wasn't so much like a pain management thing for him battling his way around Augusta, but it was more about just trusting that he could swing and that he'd be okay and that he's not going to re-injure himself. So the fact that he got through that week, the fact that he played immediately again the next week was outstanding with his irons at the Heritage and then teed it up one more time. I think he's probably a lot healthier than the market is giving him credit for. And so the ceiling outcome is there, I think, is an awesome course fit. And if he isn't healthy, that doesn't really matter for an outright because the outright is just the ceiling outcome. So I'm more hesitant on like the top 20 market because that's where the injury uncertainty actually plays a larger role. But getting Morikawa at a 50-1 number, he's available 55 some places. So yeah, I think that's pretty spectacular.
Awesome. I'm not a Morikawa guy. I would never bet him to win the Masters because I just wouldn't want him around forever in that way. And I know the PGA Championship honors ex-champions, former champions, and they're invited back, but it's just different. If I do flood the zone a bit this week with my outright bets, I'm for sure betting Morikawa. I'm for sure going there.
Yeah, I mean he's in the right range if you're going to flood the zone and he, like I said, the course fit is just spectacular. If someone's going to just over and over hit the ball to 12 feet on these holes where you either have to hit it to 12 feet or you're not going to have a chance for birdie, he's the perfect guy to do that.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Alex. All the best. Have a great PGA Championship week right in your backyard there in Philly.
Right back at you, Jeff.
Awesome. Let's keep on keeping on here, Jay. Up next, someone who I enjoy a lot, hosts daily, I believe, The Early Edge over at Sportsline. Always enjoy catching that when I'm on the go, out and about, him and the crew over there. Sia Nejad. Sia, great to chat with you this time. PGA Championship week. I guess I'll just throw it at you. It's a bit of a loaded question, but doesn't even have to be betting. There's not much felt like this was a pretty low buzz major, even as we sit here on Tuesday morning. What are you looking forward to?
I mean, it's always going to be the betting aspect for me, Jeff. And by the way, thanks for having me on. But honestly, we talk about Scotty Scheffler, we talk about Rory McIlroy, and we always talk about them as, well, at least the last couple of years, we've always talked about them as the top two in everybody else. And I feel like we might be on the precipice of that everyone else impacting those top two with the Cameron Youngs, with the Matt Fitzpatricks. I'm just really, because I like both of those guys I just mentioned, Cam Young and Matt Fitzpatrick, and I just want to see how long they can keep this going, because at a certain point, we have to start including them in the conversation, maybe even above the Xander Schauffele's who get that press, or the John Rahm when we get to majors. So that's really interesting to me. Can guys like Cam and Fitz keep it up?
Yeah, and as we've seen, from the betting perspective, right? Something has to give on those outright boards when we now have put two new players sort of into that tier. I don't know that. I mean, Tommy's always kind of Tommy, but I don't know what sort of gave there. I mean, I guess a few guys disappeared, but yeah, we've got new guys into that top part of the board this week. But let's get at it, Sia. Why don't you sell me on your favorite prop for the PGA Championship?
Well, it's funny. I'll just begin with this because I kept mentioning Fitz, and I feel like I'm doing a disservice to Alex Fitzpatrick by just saying Fitz and not, declaring that I'm talking about Matt Fitzpatrick. But I'm throwing it out there. That's not the play I'm bringing. But Alex Fitzpatrick in the top 40 market is plus 132, including ties. And I just don't think that guy's getting any respect. But the prop I came with is it's got a little bit more plus money attached to it. We've been doing top region markets. I know Pat came with that. I know you mentioned a top Japanese market probably coming on to the show later. We're going to go top Oceania with Adam Scott plus 250. I'm one of the people, just like everybody else, who's kind of in on the Adam Scott buzz. Have had him as a long shot outright over the last few weeks. Also had him top 20, which he's fared pretty well in that department. But the competition there is Minwoo Lee, Jason Day, Cam Smith, and then a bunch of guys that I don't think are going to contend, including Ryan Fox, who's just not having a good 2026 so far. But to me, the main competition on this plus 250 number is Minwoo Lee and maybe Jason Day. But if you look at what Jason Day's done in 2026, Geoff, it hasn't looked good. And the only thing he's really been good at is the around the green play. And I just don't think that's going to play here. I mean, not that around the green might not come into play, but the ball striking, the putting isn't there for him. So Minwoo Lee and Adam Scott, I think, are a pretty good matchup. And I feel like, unless Adam Scott has one of those standard Thursdays where he just throws everything away, and he does that maybe 2 days of the 4, I think this is a head-to-head, Adam Scott versus Minwoo Lee. And I love Adam Scott's approach play way more than I love Minwoo Lee's approach play. I think off the tee, they're comparable in a lot of ways. I think with the putter, Minwoo Lee certainly has the advantage. But to me, and Alex Blickle just mentioned this, the approach play for me is going to be of primary importance. And I think Adam Scott has got Minwoo Lee there. And I don't think it's particularly close in that department.
It's hard to argue with any of that. I, like you, would see it as a two-way. We haven't seen many people come out this week and get behind the driver putter profile that is Minwoo Lee. The floor is so much higher with Scott. I totally see what you're selling here. And like you, I mean, I don't have the future of the outright. If I had to pick 3 guys unrelated to, I guess, betting who I would want to see win, Adam Scott would surely be on my podium. Plus, what did you say? Plus 265 top.
It's plus 250 top Oceania. And just in case people don't know, top Oceania is basically the top Australian market, but it includes New Zealand. And that's where guys like Ryan Fox come in. So, and actually, Geoff, correct me if I'm wrong, FanDuel has an affiliation with this show. I believe of the major books, they have the best number on this market.
Wonderful. Shout out to our friends at FanDuel. And yes, going back to a Pac-12 inflatable chair I had as a kid, sports always helps with my geography. I learned on the Majors show, on the Masters Props Extravaganza, that Finland wasn't in Scandinavia.
So I thought Finland was also in Scandinavia. And I'm one of those guys that prides myself on knowing that stuff. I was stunned to find out that wasn't the case.
Yeah. And how do you figure that? How do you learn that? Well, you look at sports books and you see Sami Välimäki's not included. And okay. Learning something new each day there. Sia, before I let you out, what do you think? Are you expecting to see this thing get away from the top of the board? It does feel like, I don't know, that we're due for an outlier. And as much as I like to think down the board, I personally don't see it. Even though I'm paralyzed by how I'm going to outright bet it, I'm always thinking it's going to the top.
Geoff, I just I understand why you would take guys in the 50 to even 80 to 100 range. I mean, there's guys like Patrick Reed that I think are interesting in the 70 to 80 range. Adam Scott is interesting. There was somebody else in that range that I was pretty fond of. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of these tournaments are coming down to the best golfers. And the best golfers typically are the golfers who can close on a Sunday. And so that's your Scotties, your Rorys, and especially in 2026, it's your Matt Fitzpatricks, who, oh, by the way, was my first click, and your Cameron Youngs. I mean, they've just proven it over and over again. They're not afraid of the moment. I think it's going to be one of those upper crust guys that ends up winning this thing.
And before I let you out, do you just have an opinion on the live guys, or it's all just case by case?
It's interesting because I guess it's case by case. I wouldn't group them necessarily, but to me, it's John Rahm that I think Tyrrell Hatton's interesting. John Rahm, for one and done purposes, Geoff, I'm doing really well, but I have I've used a lot of bullets and I haven't used John Rahm. So I'm trying to justify using him this week. I expect of all the live guys, I expect John Rahm, maybe Bryson, Tyrrell Hatton, Patrick Reed. I think they're going to fare pretty well. I think it's going to be a good tournament for all those guys. Maybe not Bryson, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
And I'll say this to answer a question I asked you about, what am I fascinated by most stepping away from betting this week? For me, it is John Rahm.
Yeah.
What happens, and he's a player whose reputation is always just, at this moment in time, it's always about the last major. But like an apologist for maybe finding out that Piff pulled out of your situation like 2 days before the Masters. Now it's a sort of event, you know, these PGA Championships, U.S. Opens, that like he can truly thrive. And I'm not taking anything away from a Masters champion when I'm saying sometimes I feel like these events are better fits for him. And like I don't know, he's here. I know he's like hearing the noise about him, and like the psychology, my minor in psychology is just so fascinated about which Jon Rahm gets this week, because he's probably got this Rahm versus everybody vibe like in his brain right now. And he is like an alpha competitor, and I don't know if he's going to show up neutered or the alpha.
So I love the psychology of it, Geoff. I mean, I really do. I just wonder if we're giving him some leniency on the psychology of certain things that have happened and that maybe he's going to emerge from it, how many people are either passing him or have already passed him in that upper crust that I keep referring to? I think that's the big question. I don't think Jon Rahm's like not good anymore. I think he's still great. I just wonder, are people starting to pass him? Is that what we're truly finding out right now? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
That's a fair point, where he's like the fourth player on this odds board, but maybe he's really the seventh or eighth best player right now. So he might win, but why would you bet him at? Yep, I get it all. Great points. Sia, appreciate you hopping on today. Everyone, give him a follow at Sia Nejad on the X machine. Appreciate it. We'll do this again for one of the summer majors.
Thanks, Geoff. Appreciate it.
All the best. Let's keep the party going.
One sec first. Sia did a great job. Shout out to Sia. That was an awesome little segment. For those of you who are watching right now, there's over 100 watching. Do us a huge favor. Smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. It goes a long way for us here on the channel. Geoff, you're supposed to be doing that, but I'm doing your job for you. So there's that. Yeah, smash the like button if you can. Really helps us out. If you're enjoying the content, if you're enjoying the show. Tells us that you're enjoying the show. Tells YouTube you're enjoying the show. And if you're new here, again, one more time, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys.
I told Jason I was just walking my dog, had a bet on a hockey game. I couldn't find a stream. I don't pay for the fancy service, I guess. So I just went to YouTube, clicked it in, and like just got a kid doing his own play-by-play. And it ended up I'm like the only person in there watching, and I kind of felt bad to leave.
Yeah, I mean, what did you not do?
But then literally,
what did you not do?
I forgot to give him a like. But then on a different day, I hooked him a like on something I wasn't even like partaking in. It came up in my algo, and I'm like, I owe this kid a like.
There you go.
And I gave it to him. So.
That's massive for him and his channel. Shout out to that guy. If you remember his channel, you can give him a shout out. Anyways, let's get on to our next guest.
I don't know it. All right, let's go. Here we are. My guy, Ryan Baroff. Ryan couldn't join us for the Masters show because he was at the Masters.
Happens.
Yeah, happens. Some of us. All right, Ryan, one of my absolute favorites, just crushes it, and he just gives all the milk away for free on the Twitter machine. At our Baroff 47?
427. Yep, you got it.
Close. 427. Listen, you want to be there Monday morning when Ryan shares his outright picks weekly. I don't know of anybody in the orbit that hits more winners than Ryan. I'm not even putting air in his tires. I think that's just a factual statement of somebody like who's part of the community who puts it out there and isn't like betting $1 on 80 golfers just to show us a winner on the internet on Sunday night. So with the air in his tires quite full, let's go, Rye. Sell me on your favorite prop for this week.
Absolutely. Good to see you. I feel like we talk often. I know I got to see you guys a couple months ago, but we don't get to speak enough. So it's good to be here.
True.
Yeah, much like you referenced with Pat, I got hammered this week because my card is all futures, right? So it's definitely a better week for placements and, of course, for some props. So I think first and foremost, just looking at the overall course and what we're looking for, I've gone back and forth like you guys have as well, right? How much is off the tee going to matter? I'm starting to lean more that way, but obviously with these green complexes, I still think you have to be an elite iron player. So, I mean, very simply, if you just sort by sort of driving distance and then look at the guys who are best in strokes gained approach from like that cohort, you're obviously going to get all the top names, Rory and Aberg and Cam Young and Rahm and Xander. So let's skip past them. But really the first guy who stood out to me, who I think is going to be very popular this week, is Nikolai Højgaard. So part of my first prop, which is a parlay, is him as low Danish player. It actually opened at plus 105. It's kind of flipped the other way. He's like minus 110 or minus 105 at most books, but I absolutely love that. He really just has to beat the Rasmusses, right? I think all three of them are a good course fit, but he is in by far the best form and has been all year. So that would be part one of the prop. And then part two of the prop is low Japanese. And I think this one's really easy. As bad as he's been, and I know, again, you and Pat reference this all the time, especially last week, I think the pendulum has swung way too far on Matsuyama. It's a major week. He's been the low Japanese in 8 of the last 10 majors. He's got to beat a group that includes Rio, Higa, and Kota Kaneko this week. A couple of those guys can't even hit the ball close to 300 yards off the tee. So he is still minus 115 pretty much across all books. So parlay that with low Dane Nikolai, and you can get that about plus 265. The only other one that I will throw on there, in case you have it available, is low senior. Like, there is no reason not to add Stuart Sink to that. I've pretty much seen minus 138 as a consensus. It's not posted everywhere yet, but add that leg and you're looking at plus 500.
Who else is in there with? Who else is with Sink?
It's a very bad market. Here, let me pull it up real quick.
Because low senior at the Masters saved my week with that ZJ, which there was a sweat there for a bit on Thursday, Friday, because I don't know, someone got hot.
Yeah, I mean, Sink's just playing really well. Obviously, he has been absolutely dominant on the Champions Tour. There's a couple of the club pros that are orders. So let me see if these are in there. So the one book that I have available here right now, it's Sink, Patty Harrington, Sean McKeel, and Y.E. Yang. He's drifted now to close to minus 165 at that book. So still, like, I think he should be minus 200, minus 250. Yeah. He's literally won 4 of his 6 last events. He hits the ball longer than all of those guys. He hits every single green also. And, like, this is a much bigger ballpark, but Stuart Sink added to that makes a lot of sense.
I love it. Even at 165, I still think there's room on that for it to be advantageous. I wasn't afraid of anyone you mentioned there. So, Ryan, just quickly, I guess, because I hyped up your outrights. You've got your futures. We don't need to deep dive those.
Yeah.
But because of such a great future card, how did you, did that change how you wanted to bet this week? Did you feel like you could take more shots at the top? Are you flooding the zone?
I felt like I could stay away for the most part, and that was my plan.
That's the other option.
Obviously, you and I have a certain vice with a certain Swedish golfer.
Yeah.
And when I saw the ball striking last week, I just had to. So I got a little at 22-1 on Saturday. Got a little more 25-1 yesterday.
Some 25s, yeah.
I'm very happy with that, but I did add one more.
People also saying, "Oh, sorry, go."
Yeah, I added JJ Spawn also. I think, again, we've seen him do it at a big ballpark. I think accuracy can play here. Like, I think guys like Spawn and Straka specifically are still alive here, and there was 100-1 on Spawn last night, so I took that one as well.
Fascinating. JJ Spawn. And yeah, listen, we see it. People, message me all the time. Not all the time, but, Nikolai is better than Ludwig. 3-4 times the price. Well, maybe I'm the sucker. Maybe.
But yeah, we're going into this with Cam Young and Fitz. Like, that's really what this week is all about. I am way more invested in Cam Young than Fitz, just in terms of sort of raw output number of tickets, but either one of those outcomes would be pretty amazing for all of us. So.
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Awesome. All right, Ryan, love that parlay. Nikolai, low Dane, and Hideki, low Japanese. We get that to 265. If you want to get spicy, he's saying maybe a little side hustle with a little Stuart Sink, low senior, which in and of itself could have been your favorite prop. And it
seems like a really easy one considering the form.
All right, Rye. Well, next time we'll have to chat. We'll have to do this more often, I guess.
Absolutely. Thanks, Geoff.
Awesome.
See you, bye.
Can I jump in here?
What do you got?
You got to work on your sign-offs.
Sure. What do you want from me? Let's go. What do
You're
you got?
doing no, nothing. You're doing a great job.
No,
just teasing
I
you.
take buddy. You think I'm above taking advice or getting a little tip? What do you?
I'm
what?
teasing you a little bit. You know. I think.
Well,
you're
you've been
great.
holding that in for a little. Like you didn't just. No, I'm very open. I'm very open to any sort of feedback, positive, negative.
Okay. No, I think you're doing a great job. I just think the sign off is.
Let's see. Okay, we'll get into hour 2.
I'll jump in and help you out with the sign off next time. Okay, maybe not.
Sometimes I don't know. I'm just trying to be polite, get the person off, get the next person in.
All right. Well, we're wasting time. And like
You
the
do
guys-
this every day.
I know. Sorry. Okay. Enough.
Yeah, you're making me waste time with someone I actually like. That would imply I didn't like the other people. I like everybody.
Are you saying you don't like the other guests, Jeff?
No, this one. I enjoyed our conversation last time. I don't speak to him. It's the first time I ever spoke to him, and now I'm already wasting seconds. So let's go at Golden Pants. Let's get in there. Last time for the Masters, we had a bridge jumper, which created a sweat, but it got home. It got home pretty stress free. I want to say, even by the end. But let's go. Golden Pants, welcome back. PGA Championship week. I guess, for someone, on the smart end of the room, not the slower reading, group on my end, I'll put it out there. A major at a course we haven't been to in nearly a decade. It was waterlogged last time. The Masters, you and everybody, you're working off the same data sets, right? There's not much. Maybe you're tinkering. Maybe you got a small something. But this is where... do you enjoy this situation more? The lack of data sets, maybe that adds a bit of ball knower to it. I doubt you'd ever do that. I don't think that's applicable, but how do you work with that? Overcome it, I should say.
Yeah, I like it. I think, I'd probably say we're potentially stronger if there's a lot of data. But I've been recently doing some hand tweaks and whatnot. And, I wouldn't say I'm a grade A ball knower, but I'd say I'm like B tier and I'm working on it. So of a course like this, I listen to a lot of the press conferences. Yeah. And as I'm sure you have, and seemingly the consensus from the players is you're just going to send it off the tee and figure it out from there. That's kind of where my prop comes from. But yeah, on a week like this, I think it's good because if you are a ball knower, you can get in there and get value against somebody like me who just wants to run their model and might not be as nimble as you. So
I know, speaking to Pizzola, who isn't in office today. He's probably out golfing. It's beautiful. Speaking of Pizzola, there'll be times a tournament like this, I'll message him, unrelated to content. What do you got? You do a show? You got a prop for me? Something. And he'll be like, I got no bets. I don't have data. I'm not making bets. But
yeah, I'm surprised because Rob seemingly likes to sweat golf. That's the thing I get from his
maybe he doesn't
Twitter.
like to share something with me because he knows if he gives me something, I might overbet it. But for the most part, I'm confident to say that these sorts of weeks where you don't have the data set and it's a course he doesn't have it on, he usually, I'm not saying he's not going to bet it rec-wise or be watching and find, a book that's adjusting slow to live situation or something. Rob's next tier. He's going to be on it. But heading into the week, he'll tell me I don't have the data. I can't do much with it.
Yeah. I think in these weeks, what I tend to do is I tend to try and basically create the course either myself, create a course, basically create the attributes of the course or get a comp course. So it's okay, I'm actually just going to pretend this event is hosted at this course, which I think is close, and then I'm going to run the model,
And we have Donald Ross. Like, are you just using other Donald Ross courses, or?
I kind of like this one. I'm interested. I want it to really value distance, and kind of devalue accuracy. So think I'm gonna probably use the Houston Open course. Not 100% sure. Yeah, I think
I have not. I mean, I've heard people wanting to support the Bombers this week. I've heard a few course comps. I've not heard someone throw out Houston, which can I tell you, GP?
Yeah,
I say Houston, one of the, I'm not saying you're going to get a winner, but it's one of the easiest outright caps of the year. Like, in picking that outright card, I joke, like, there's like a lane I'm going to pick in it. I remember I had Nikolai. He was in the final group.
Yep.
He,
yeah, it was him and
great day
Woodland,
for
right?
Gary, whatever. I wasn't on that, so I'm going to enjoy it as much as everyone else did. But I just felt like, even I didn't win a bet, that was an easy event to cap.
Yeah, like everyone says Quail Hollow is the Bombers course. Like, I think Houston's the Bombers course because at Quail Hollow you have to be straight-ish. So it's like a good course for like Rory or Scotty, but at Houston you can just put it anywhere. Like it's just like there's no trouble anywhere.
Miss the bunker and you're fine here.
Exactly. Miss the one bunker on the course. Yeah, and then you're okay. But yeah, here look, here I'm just kind of trying to get it. So I'm not like, because right now, like, I'm basically posting markets. So I'm trying to be not too far off market on anybody, and just get the bets that I know I'm going to get, which is like, I'm going to get a lot of people betting Brooks Koepka. I'm never going to have a number on Brooks that's like so high. I'm going to be taking bets on the market. I know I'm going to be probably taking some Scotty this week and all of this. So a lot of the strategy is like, part of the strategy is around, what's the course, but then it's not as important for me as somebody like you who's going to go out and take bets, because I'm more now trying to make sure I don't get like fucked by any like one specific, player by being off market and just getting like 300,000 contracts of one player that I didn't realize like I made a mistake on or not. Or I just don't want to have too differentiated of opinion, I guess. It's a little different.
But like most of these majors, your opinion will never match up with the public consensus of Brooks Koepka.
Correct. And I like Brooks. I'm in on Brooks. Like I think he's underrated by sharps. Probably still overrated by the public. But I do think he quit golf, and he said as much. So we're talking about somebody, he's like showing up early to try and get his spot in every signature event. He's playing these alt fields, like no complaints, paid his money. This is a guy who wants to golf, and
I don't want him to win. I've got this dream where he's going to come to Toronto in a couple weeks, same weekend the World Cup is here, Jason, and not. Like I don't want him and finally win. I think TPC Toronto is going to be a great Brooks course, and I think that'd be great for the Canadian Open and great for Brooks. So you're like the first guy here who I've maybe spoken to who would say like I could bet a driver putter guy this week.
Yeah, I think you could bet a driver putter.
I might put words in your mouth.
Minwoo Lee, or like, are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, like
Lee?
when I say driver putter, that's like the names that come to my head are like Burns and Minwoo. Yeah. And I'm a Minwoo guy usually.
I think that Minwoo and Burns are very playable this week. And Burns I didn't show as much value on. We definitely like Minwoo though, I would say. Okay. Yeah. Minwoo's good because I think like the other thing that people are saying is this is a tough course around the greens. Like Minwoo is a good around the greens player.
Great.
So, I think besides the fact that someone like Minwoo, someone like Goddard, someone like Nikolai, these are all good course fits, I think. Like, I'm just guessing, but I think. But, these are also guys who haven't really felt it in a major. I think Nikolai was in contention in the Masters when Scotty won the second time briefly. Yeah. I think he got in there. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think like that's the one thing is obviously there's some precedent on like people who've done well and contended in majors. So like, yeah, that's why you want somebody who can mix it up a little, or who has mixed it up, but you're not going to get good numbers on those guys.
All right, GP, what is your favorite prop for the PGA Championship?
So I mentioned Goddard. I got Goddard top 5 plus 1,300 on FanDuel, I think. Shout out to FanDuel. Yeah, I we like Goddard up a little bit more than market. Think it's a good number, and my inkling is this is a great course for him. It's going to be wet. It's going to be, there's no trees, so he can do whatever he wants off the tee with this like insane curvy ball flight. And Goddard is a really good out of the rough player too. So yeah, the rough's up. It's northeast rough, but I don't think it really matters to him. So this is just kind of, I think it's like a perfect Goddard course. Just send it out there and figure it out. That's basically the Chris Goddard way, and there's no trees, which is important for him.
Well, I guess after hearing what you thought about this place and how it would play out, Chris Goddard seems like the perfect bet.
I hope it's more fun than the Olazabal bet.
No, but you gave something else. That was just a bridge jumper, right?
Well, the other one lost. It was Hideki versus Colin, and Colin limped around the course.
Colin's weekend.
He was like on a walker, like going around shooting 4-under. But yeah.
Okay.
So, better luck this one.
Goddard T5. Jason, you got something?
Yeah. What's your handicap update? We asked you on the Master Show.
Thank you, Jason. I'm trending. I'm at 2.6 now. I really took a big jump the last couple of weeks. So
that is stripe showing.
Yeah, we're trending. So I don't know, maybe by the British or the US we'll have a get under 2.
Yeah, you'd be spotting me like 13.5 strokes, I think.
You might be in my pocket though, getting in my pocket with that. I could see you being a good money player.
No, I'm not. Trust me, you like me on a 5-footer. All my friends know, like Meg Feinberg putted out.
Before the knee brace, yes, but after the knee brace, no shot.
Yeah.
Life. All right, Chris.
I thought sorry.
No, say it.
I was gonna say I thought the knee brace was like a sneaky way to get extra strokes.
Maybe, but it's not a gimmick. It's not a work. It's not a work.
Okay. Yeah,
all right, GP, big hitter. A big hitter, Chris Goddard. That's what we're talking about. From one big hitter to another. GP, Chris Goddard. Coming up next, Matt Vincenzi with me here. Jason, what's going on there? Was that a better, what did I do there?
You gave me literally zero time to switch things over.
No, but you were talking about how I didn't do a good transitions or something.
You literally just said, all right, GP, from one big hitter to another. You didn't even plug Golden Pants' Twitter at Golden Pants 13. You haven't plugged Matt's Twitter at Matt Vincenzi PGA. You didn't do anything.
That's what you're here for. You do this every day. I'm sitting in your chair.
Okay. Well, Matt's here. Stop wasting his time. Go on, Geoff. Sorry. I'm going to get beat by Geoff after the show.
I like you too much. Have I ever beat you? What does that mean? Have I ever gotten mad at you? One time in studio. I told you to F off.
Yeah.
But I liked you enough. I wouldn't say that to someone who I didn't like. So I told you to take that as that's a good sign.
That's fair.
Okay. Shall we keep going?
Yeah.
All right.
Geoff, you learn from the best from yelling at people. I've heard Pat Mayo is not no stranger to yelling at co-hosts and producers and whatnot.
That is true. And trust me, I know Mayo from like a past life. Well, I'm not going to call him out, but yeah. Like Mayo, you wouldn't survive. Like Mayo been a lot harder on you than Pizzola.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Okay.
I see what I've seen him do to no. Okay.
No, you can say it.
No, I'm just saying I've been at places where I've seen him go at an intern and be like, okay, I'm gonna go get some fresh air. I don't want to be any.
I'm not an intern.
I'm just in a past life.
Okay, enough about me.
Yeah, let's go. We've already wasted time. Why am I wasting time with Jason? Okay, Matt, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, friend. PGA Championship week, not the Masters, not the data set, the choose your own adventure of Aronimic. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I can't wait for this week. Love a nice major. It's great to see kind of all the players together. I have some strong feelings about this week. I've been kind of building out a card for the last while, and I'm on a lot of those big numbers that I'm sure a lot of people are on, but definitely have some good props to go to.
Okay, so aside from, the future bonanza that it seems like this year has allowed, if you're early on a couple of golfers, those guys aside, I can't have Matt on without asking him what that outright card's going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a smorgasbord from the 50 to 100. I have a young.
So you're
80
flooding the
from
zone.
early. Yes.
Yeah, the flood the zone approach. I guess you want to just sell me on that, as I am trying to figure out if I want to go big game hunting or flood the zone to complement my futures.
Well, given one of the futures is a Cam Young at 80, and then I got Matt Fitz at 50, I feel like I have the top of the board relatively covered, and therefore I'm able to take a bunch of shots down the board with some other guys between 50 to 100. But, if past history is any indicator, it's definitely concerning not having one of those big name players, because they seem to have won the PGA over the last 5 years or so.
Let me ask you quickly, because I've said a couple times, the story that I'm most fascinated by this week is Jon Rahm. Like, which Jon Rahm are we going to get? I like Jon Rahm. He's always just, at this point, going to be judged by his last major. He's like almost an NBA player, where, the narrative is slow, and then the second he does something, he's going to be like a king again, right? Performs at the major, all the bad Rahm vibes go away. Sucks at a major, all the bad Rahm vibes, rise to the top.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, him and Bryson, for me, it's like I always feel pretty confidently in how I think they're going to play, even though I was wrong at the Masters. With that being said, I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes at Augusta that week that not many people knew about that may have impacted the way those guys played.
I'm an apologist for that. Some people say that's not fair, but finding out what we're to assume they found out 48 hours, 36 hours before that tournament makes sense. But he started with a 78. He finished with what? A 65. Enough said.
Yeah.
Enough said.
So I think he's probably prime for a good week. I mean, I think Bryson probably is too. I mean, to me, that's not where I would go at the top of the board. I'm not, I just need to see it a little more first. I think I'm maybe a little bit scorned by the performance last time. They still need to prove it. With that being said, it would not surprise me at all if either one of them played great or both of them played great. But it's a coin flip.
So in your 50 to 101 range outrights, you want to just rhyme them off to me?
Yeah,
I know. Sorry, go.
So, see, the Fitz and Young, and then I got Henley at 60, Hovland at 70. Who else? Hatton. I think Hatton's a good one at 50 to 60 to 1. He's been the best live player in majors, and he's all the way down the board, which I think, it seems like there's a lot of value there. And I think this course probably should suit him pretty well. I got Patrick Cantlay around the 50 to 1 range. And then Neiman 100. I mean, 100 to 140. I get why people wouldn't want him in the 30 to 40 range like he's been the last couple of years, but he's going completely under the radar this week.
You'll know this. I'm the guy who 3 years ago was mocking, none of this was serious, but I was literally putting out there, if a sportsbook wants to let me sign a 10-year contract to get Neiman in the PGA at 40 to 1, I will sign that right now.
Yep. And now he's 100.
And now, I got pulled a 125 yesterday. I can't resist. He might be involved in my prop at the end of the show. I'll call that a tease,
I have a good prop
no
on
one
him.
who knows me should be surprised. So, give me 30 seconds on Neiman, and then give me your prop.
And then last one, I got Ricky 125.
Beautiful.
Last week.
Beautiful.
So that's a good one. I like Ricky at 72. So Neiman, for me, I mean, he's been great in this area. He's won in West Virginia. He has a playoff loss at a Donald Ross course at the Rocket Mortgage. He's been fine this year. Stats are okay. Nothing wrong whatsoever. And I think last year there was just so much pressure on him. When you would talk to Neiman, the first thing he would say is, I know I have to perform majors. 8 out of 10 guys you talk to out there, they say, I'm just worried about playing my game. I'm not worried about that. When you talk to him, he said, I know I have to play well in majors. And he was stressed about it last year. I think this year, because he hasn't won yet, and like there's so much less pressure on him, he's under the radar. I think that's when he can be freed up to play a little better. I think it's going to be soft. I think for Niemann to win a major, it's probably going to have to be 15 under, and I think we could see that this week.
I love it. I'm in. I mean, I don't need to be sold on Niemann like you. I'm a bit of a fanboy there.
So prop, including him, that I think is really good is top South American at plus 102. I mean, he has to beat Vegas, Grillo, and Nico, and I think that's very doable for him.
Yeah, might just say I like that one. Could be using
and then the other one I'm
could
going
be
to
using that one later.
Yes, is Patrick Cantlay, top 10 at 4-1. I think this is a great Cantlay spot. I think he's sneaky. I think he's under the radar as well. He has some great success in this region. This is his place. I mean, Caves Valley, when he gained like 13 strokes putting, he's great on pure bent grass, like we're going to see this week. This is Cantlay territory, both, I think in terms of what the golf course is going to ask and the region. I love Cantlay this week to finish in the top 10.
Yeah, I honestly don't see myself sending out a betting card that doesn't have him on it this week. I've been burned by him a lot. I don't remember the last time I even bet him, but I am pretty... I think I'm getting suckered into Cantlay this week. You're giving that top 10 4-1. His form lately, it's either been top 10 or flirting just on the outskirts of it. So it does seem like that guy, maybe not the ceiling of that guy, but like that guy is sort of back loitering in those normal spots on the leaderboard. Matt, great to talk to you, buddy. We'll do this again. Summertime, more major championships. I guess 30 seconds on your thoughts on Cam Smith and like that situation.
I think it's going with Claude. I see Claude every week. And I think it'll be good for him to get a change. I don't think that's going to result in anything, in the very immediate future. I don't think that means he's going to suddenly play well at Ronimink and start driving the golf ball better when he's been, let's face it, one of the worst drivers of the golf ball on the planet for an elite player. I think that's going to take some time. I think Claude should help in that regard. And I'm hoping one thing I will push back on is that he doesn't care. He definitely cares. He just isn't playing well. And he's trying his best to play well, but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. So we'll see.
Golf's hard.
Yes.
Thank you, Matt. Good times as always. At Matt Vincenzi, PGA. Give Matt a follow over there. Always spirited golf conversation. And always interested to see who Matt is betting week in, week out in the world of golf. We keep this thing moving along here, Jay.
Quick reminder.
Smash the like.
What else?
Subscribe. We could always use the subscriptions, right? That's how this game is played. The milk for free. You just hit the subscription button and you smash that thumb up.
It's the craziest thing. It costs people $0 to do.
It costs people $0 to do.
Yeah.
Okay, we move on here. At ADP Lack Sports, Andy Lack joins us again. Andy, always great to talk to you this week. You have just been throwing out the content nonstop. I caught you chatting with Joseph Lamagna early on the weekend, two of my favorite people on golf. Talking golf was always enjoyable. Aronimick. This is one of those where, like, this is like the first real test for the I don't want to say like the tout space, but like I said, the Masters, we have the data set. We know what to expect. The weather is the weather. We can work on that. That's not difficult. We go somewhere we haven't been in a while. There's been renovations. We've got a consortium of different opinions on how it's going to play. It's almost like a fun battle. Not a battle. It's almost just fun to see, the differing opinions and then to see, almost like who nailed it, come Sunday. So what are your feelings as we hit Aronimick?
I mean, we've got a couple guys in our Discord at the golf course today, and it seems to me like everybody is kind of on to, it's going to be easier thing. I don't think that like the scoring average being easier at this golf course than say Oak Hill That's not sneaking up on anyone. But I think that, it really is going to come down to where they put the pins in some of these greens, because they have a ton of options. These are really large greens. These greens are like double the size of Oak Hill. There's a ton of undulation and slope to them. And I think that kind of brings me to like this being a lot more of a second shot golf course perhaps than people think. I don't know like what the biggest prevailing narratives in the industry are, because I've been so over-indexed on my commitments that I haven't gotten to listen to a lot outside of what I've been doing. But I definitely would perhaps push back on like a big time driving narrative if that's persistent this week, in exchange for perhaps like the importance of approach play and putting.
I've seen a bit of everything.
Yeah,
be perfectly
you're going to
honest.
get that on major weeks,
right? And that's the fun part. And then I don't know that it's a cop out to say, like, I think this place, I could see all player types.
Oh yeah,
right. I could see how this could work for all of them. I could see why, those shot makers at 135 are probably gonna be able to get on the right level better than a guy in the rough at 112 out. Right.
yeah. No, I totally agree with you, Geoff. Like it feels like I don't want to say wide open, because
do you have a comp course?
Well, I think like Rory and Scotty and Cam Young, maybe not Cam Young, he's playing just as well as you do, but I actually think like Scotty's playing a lot better than he was playing heading into the Masters. And so I don't think it would surprise anybody if he won, but I do think that you're going to see like certainly a couple different types of skill sets at the top of the leaderboard. I think there's going to be guys that like aren't really even considered good drivers at all and are just like really excellent wedge players and putters. I think there'll be a couple of those guys that finish pretty highly on this course, or at least above expectation. And then I think there's like certainly going to be a few bombers as well.
All right, Andy, without further ado, what's your favorite prop for me this time? I believe last time you brought home a winner.
Yeah, we did really good. It was we last time
Xander over Bryson, I think.
Yeah, that was
notes here. Yeah, that was just pretty stressed. I mean, Bryson played his way out. Xander was,
Yeah, we were targeting Bryson really hard last time at the Masters. I don't know if I have like a surefire fade in that way. I won't be on Bryson this week, but I think he's a little bit more viable right now than perhaps how I felt about him at the Masters. There are a couple like longer shot players that I would throw out as like, I think very sound top 20 bets. I'm going to be really heavy on Thomas Dietrich, who I think is,
that's my mail. Yeah.
I think he's playing some good golf on Live. He finished really highly at Valhalla. And while I think this is definitely going to be a different test than Valhalla in a lot of ways, like I really like his combination of putting skill and his iron play, particularly the short iron play, has been really solid of late too. Another player that I would probably target as like a top 20 would actually be Keegan, who I know like he won at Aronimink in 2018. I think there are a lot of differences of how the golf course is going to be set up this week than 2018. 2018 was like a historically rain affected golf tournament. Like that was a torrential downpour. The golf course was extremely soft. But I actually really like the way that Keegan's playing right now. He actually led the entire field at the Truist in approach play on Sunday. And iron play has been a bit of a struggle for him this year. So it's really nice to see that aspect of his game rounding into form just in time for the PGA. So I think like the top 20 numbers on, I haven't dove into the matchups yet. That's on my to-do list this afternoon, but I think like top 20 or even top 5 or 10 numbers on Thomas Dietrich would be pretty interesting to me.
Awesome. Andy, appreciate it. Should be a fun one. I love that Oak Hill t-shirt that you're wearing.
Thanks.
There.
Got to rep the North.
Yeah, I guess that's just, I don't know if that's like not even PGA Championship. That's probably just like membership, right? Fresh Pro Shop stuff there.
It's fresh Pro Shop stuff, but you're welcome anytime.
Oh, well, there it is. Geez, got to head to Rochester. I'll take you up on that. Got to get that handicap a little lower, though. Honestly, I would just like to look at it. I'd probably play the easier course on property.
The West Course rules. Like, the members don't play the East Course because it's so difficult. So, yeah, they're both fun.
Yeah, I could see why, like, 75-year-old, like, older men don't want to play the major championship.
It's like kind of like it's like kind of an ego thing of like, we only play it when we bring guests out.
Makes sense.
Because I think like the guests really want to see it, but it's a ball buster, man.
Oh, I believe
total
that. I believe it. I will be seeing it again, I guess, soon enough, too. Andy,
USM 2027.
There it is. Appreciate you, Andy. At ADP Lack Sports. Follow Andy. Inside Sports Network. They're pumping out all the content loaded with the golf this week, every day, nonstop over there. We'll speak to you again. One of the other majors, I'm sure, coming up this summer.
You got it. Much love, Jeffrey.
All the
Cheers.
best. The train ain't stopping. It ain't stopping. We are now headed on to the ETR tracks. My guy at Skyler Hook. Skyler, what is up, buddy? One of the best. The boys at ETR, they always crush it. You got to follow Skyler, especially if you're playing in the DFS streets. He keeps you informed nonstop. What's going on, buddy? Aronimic, PGA Championship. It's not like the pageantry of the Masters. Everyone's sort of trying to figure out their own path to victory. This week, I imagine, like, you know, the Masters is one thing, but like the ownership situation for this one must be, you know, even crazier.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's major week. We get fired up by this time of the week. You know, the board looks good. A lot of narratives to go after. I'm as excited as ever. I've loved this show that you've done. It's really cool bringing all the different people in that we love and enjoy, and different thoughts on how to attack the week. You know, I think there's some contrasting stuff to what Andy had said on a couple guys. I loved his Keegan and Dietrich takes. So it's cool just going repetitive and seeing how people kind of shake out on the week.
Yeah, no, and it's like everyone, bring them on. I trust their opinion. They're ball knowers and they're into the data, and like, this is why these weeks are so great. Right, it's just the path to victory. It just feels so much different than the Masters. Masters, granted, I did a 4-hour show because it felt like more special, and this is just the PGA Championship. It doesn't feel like we got the hype, but. Yeah, just like the path to victory here conversation is much more enthralling than it ever really is at the Masters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would say, basically equals live long shots, right? I think, it's hard because, it's been like, it goes like a 5-year cycle, right? You have Phil and then 4 years of favorites, and then you have Jimmy Walker and 4 years of favorites. So, I think there's still been placements along the way that you can bet that have done well, but I kind of like how we've seen a little bit more U.S. Open-ish style PGA Championships. I think Valhalla kind of threw that out there, but the Oak Hill, year I thought was really strong, at least from a comparison. And maybe that's, who won the event that made me think that way. But I think the PGA Championship has some juice to it.
In terms of a winning score here, though, like, I don't think we're getting U.S. Open light this week, Sky.
Well, especially when you have Shinnecock on the board and I'm one. I would say I would take the under or better than the 12.5, under par. I would think 15, 16, is probably getting there safely. I just think what ends up happening, our guy McKinley, who does the projections at ETR, and I think, Northeast golf type of style, ends up being more open to different profiles of golfers, but I don't want to say we've seen some putting contests when we get here, but I think the way this week could end up being is who has the hot putter, who makes a bunch of 10 to 25 footers this week. Scares me. I'm going to lean bomber heavy still, but I do think we'd see like basically you have to be scorched earth to save par or just make a bunch of birdies.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth. I have one guest on. It's like, okay, we're going bombers. It's like another one, plotters. I mean, you could honestly make a card with like a potpourri of all of them, though.
Yeah, the one, I mean, ultimately, I think if you're making me make a decision, I am leaning bomber. I think 5 of the 6 guys outright that I'm betting with the prop that we'll talk about leads itself to distance because I think it just raises the floor. It takes the bunkers out of play. The rough seemingly is going to be patchy in the sense that it's going to end up being more of a luck-based rough situation, which I think also ends up being better for the bombers. If you think about wing foot style, it won't be that degree, but like you could lose your ball in the rough or you could have the best lie ever. So if you have a bomber who gets some really good lies and fortune on the week, I think that just raises the floor on what the expectation could be when you have to hit good iron shots into like the tiered greens.
And because they're tiered, then I guess it's like double bonus for bombers who are great lag putters. Because if you are the bomber, you will get birdie looks. Like you will. On this golf course, with how far you'll hit it, with what you're seeing from those second shot numbers, you will make a few. I'm not saying you'll make them, but you'll have a handful of 8, 12 footers. It's all going to be about those, being able to lag these tiers then for these guys.
It's honestly why, like, I actually am really bullish on Bryson this week. I think Bryson's the best putter up here, like from a sense of, I mean, how often have we just seen like insane putting performances from him? He's played well in the Northeast. I actually think what's like the whole live speculation and what's going on, like him not having a press conference, kind of playing a back seat has to be really strong for just, I think the mental side of things for him. So I overall, like he is my pick from the top of the board. I just really think he has both of those paths to make every 15 footer this week. And then also have the wing foot style bombing performance that comes out from that.
I mean, he does. I don't think you're right. There probably isn't like the high level bomber and ability to putt combo, which has always made him so attractive. And yeah, I mean, there's a stank on the tour he's on, and there's a stank on him for what happened at the Masters. So it's almost like a double barrel. Maybe this is an opportunity, but you teased a prop for us, Sky. So now it's time to give it to the people.
Yeah. So I would say I have 2, but one that we got to push FanDuel. I haven't seen exactas on FanDuel yet. Have you seen them out there? Or like dual forecast? We got to push them.
You can, I mean, we had them last time. We got a winner in the dual forecast from Matt Gannon. FanDuel will have them. It's a main market. Like if you've got a dual forecast from somewhere, you can just give it to us and we'll
okay. That's people. More of like the cherry on, like the true long shot. I'll lead with the faithful one here. And I think there's 2 markets that separate itself with, smaller selections against each other that have different skill sets or people just wildly out of form. The first one would be, it's listed as top African, basically top South African on, market. Pocketer's the only one that I would classify as a bomber. Higo hits it long, right? But if you look at who he's comparing against, Scaper, who's been great on the DP World Tour, has basically fizzled out over the last month, 2 months or so. Then you go against Bezadenhout. So you have Pocketer at plus 340 and then Jarvis and Higo beyond that. If I think the skill set of bombing and putting, Pocketer has that with upside of his irons over the last month. I think he can maybe even top 20 this event. So I think him, but if I'm going to even juice it a little bit to, be fun with it, I think the other market is top South American. If you look at the guys, again, similar to that market, I know we talked before, you like Joaquin Niemann this week. He doesn't have to win. I think he hasn't been nearly as good on live compared to the past years. I think it's kind of sneaky the way he could play this week from his driving ability, but there's no other. I mean, Vegas would be the bomber of the bunch, and, he's had a horrific year. Echeverria as the other path to it. But I think minus 105 for Neiman there. You parlay those 2 together, plus 759 official prop of the show for me.
I like it. And me, I'm bullish on one end of those. Skyler, always appreciate you taking the time here for a minute.
And then I'll give you the real long one would be the
can't leave that.
The Bryson Brooks exacta. I think Brooks is right there. This is the old school, like give it to me, U.S. Open, but you can score type of pairing. 360 to 1 dual forecast right there for it.
Like for all like we want like the certain duels, that is like a duel that would no one's really thinking about that they want, but oh my God, if that actually like manifested itself, that like our cohort of internet friends would just go bananas. Unrelated to betting.
That would be potentially the best Sunday we've gotten a major in a long time. And we got like the mini version of the Rory Scheffler at the Masters. This would be the real version though. Get this.
Matt Gannon cashed the dual forecast and you get all the credit for it. In like a real life on my couch situation, unrelated to betting, I do not acknowledge that as a Rory Scotty duel at all. Like at all. You may have hit the bet, but that's all. That's more important. I think it was over 50 to 1. Shout out to that. But yeah, in terms of like golf fanboys, we haven't had that duel yet either. Sky, that was awesome. It always is. Enjoy it each week over at ETR. And, maybe I'll even make sure I'm in the car tomorrow to catch you on with Ratcliffe. Always enjoy that hit each week as well. Sky, one of the best in the business. The guys at ETR are some of the best in the business. That's a killer combo. Appreciate you always.
Thank you, Geoff. Take care.
At Skyhook DFS.
Top of the shelf there.
What do you mean?
Like, you know how they keep like the good liquor on the top shelf?
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Sky's like a top shelf.
Oh, he's a top shelf guy. Okay. I thought you said my comment was like a top shelf comment. I was like, what are you trying to talk? Anyways.
Top shelf. See, like if this was Pizzola, doesn't matter who it is. He would just use this opportunity to insult the next guest by being like, we're going from the top shelf to the bottom shelf.
That's what I do whenever I bring you on.
Thanks. But I don't feel that way. We're going to stick on the top shelf here. We're going to stick on the top shelf. Bringing my guy Spencer Aguar from, just starting a fresh operation at Tee Off Sports. Always appreciate Spencer joining us. One of the best golf insights on all the internet that I've come across. Multiple time golf writer of the year. I can keep pumping Aaron to his tires, but you check it out for yourself at Tee Off Sports. Some of the best in the absolute biz in terms of getting us set for a tournament week in, week out. Spence, good to have you back, friend.
Geoff, I appreciate the introduction. It's always a pleasure to do this with you.
Major championship week, Aronimic. I've brought it up to a few people as like the hardcore data set guy. This isn't the Masters. We don't have all of that information overflowing, maybe too much. You almost have to, parse little pieces of information this week and choose your own adventure. How's it going for you on that end?
So, Sky just talked about this a second ago, and I think the group think mentality throughout the space is you're going to hear accuracy over and over again. But I think to actually win this tournament, he made the comp to Wingfoot. Who won at Wingfoot? It's Bryson DeChambeau. I think there's something to be said here. Like if everybody's moving in one direction of trying to find fairways, and there's a lot of different blueprints here to find success. There's going to be names at the top of the leaderboard. We saw it at Wingfoot that can find a lot of fairways that are going to be able to hit their proximity to a bucket. Like, these are really tough green complexes. At the end of the day, they're multiple tiered. It's going to be very easy to find yourself with 25 plus feet. 3-putt avoidance is going to matter here. But I ran a model about an hour ago, right before, just trying to figure out what does it look like if we just look purely at distance, wedge play, and putting. And the names at the top are all your favorites of what you're trying to find here. There's a couple that end up entering the mix, but it's like Rory's number one in that blueprint. Sam Burns is 2. I think Burns is a really good candidate here at 70 to 1 to win this golf tournament. Scheffler would be 3, Bryson 4, Cameron Young 5, Oberg 6. Like it's all these names that kind of fit the stereotypical blueprint that you would want to see at what would be a US Open, even though this is a PGA Championship here. And as Sky said, I don't think that what we get in a Ronamink is going to be this over par output to where Bryson's the only one that gets himself under par. But I do think at the end of the day, that's the skill set that we are trying to find when actually locating the winner here. Like, give me the guy who hits it far and can get hot with the putter. One of those names is going to do it probably.
I'll tell you, Spence, like I always like to bet the PGA Championship like it's a U.S. Open light, like almost the same type of players I'm trying to bet. And this week, I don't know, from the unknowns of the course, maybe I've taken in too much content. Outside of futures, I haven't made an outright, just trying to learn more, take in more. And I keep leaning to the plotters, but no, I'm not. I'll be so mad at myself if I deviate from how I always want to play these things. Yeah, okay, it's done. It's done, yeah. Minwoo Lee would have been like close on that list too. You name dropped or no?
Yes, Minwoo would be. I can tell you where he landed. He would be. I mean, he's just outside of the top 25. Like where he ended up getting hit a little bit in my model would just come from like that 100 to 150 bucket. If you shrink it down to from within 100 yards, he's going to climb higher than that. And Minwoo has the distance to shrink this even further. So, I mean, you could obviously make the argument that like even shrink it more. All these guys have different proximity buckets coming in. But yeah, it just comes down to what I said at the beginning, Geoff. It's like mostly in the betting market when we're talking about outrights, when there is a groupthink mentality that comes into play, as you talked about at the very beginning part of our segment here, where there's not a lot of data to be able to pull from, I like to mix and match my set of data points that I'm pulling from and kind of just figure out, is there an advantage to be found from the mathematical perspective? And if there is, who are the players and what are the skill sets that seem to be finding that edge? And it's like the Burnses and the Brysons of the world that keeps skyrocketing up my model in all iterations.
Awesome. I love that. And I don't know, it does something for me to hear like you and Sky piggybacking on sort of that thought. Okay, so, you know, that's fancy talk about like who might actually win. In the prop market, we don't care. We could bet some jobber golfers and they can win us a prop by, you know, playing mediocre. So I think you got something for us, Spence.
Yeah, it's the exact different outlook of what I just talked about. We are now no longer on a bomber that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about an accuracy player who has a lot of red flags in the profile when you just look at the off the tee data set from him. And I understand that, but I'm going to give on this show Andrew Putnam to make the cut at -112. This is a golfer for me inside of the top 20 for weighted strokes gained total. He's inside of the top 15 for weighted strokes gained total over his last 24 rounds. And I do think that you talked about it. If we are trying to find safety here rather than just boom or bust, and like Bryson is that prototypical boom or bust candidate to where if the number drifts high enough, like I'm willing to take a shot. For me with Putnam here, inside the top 10 for bogey avoidance, good on these like long courses, these hard fields, inside the top 35 there. He's playing really good golf, and because we have a skill set from him that isn't that natural fit that you would expect to find at a PGA Championship, I think the market was slow to move on this one. I like the short iron proximity numbers. I love the putter, and these are really large green complexes. And the one thing I will say about the greens in general here, at least from around the green, like you have a lot of bunkers. You are going to need to be able to scramble, and there's some thick rough. And I understand the sentiment in the space that like around the green gets negated. And sure, that's one of the reasons why I like somebody as much like Sam Burns as I do this week, because I do think there's a factor to that. But when you can add the ability to scramble for a guy who just needs to make the cut, I thought Andrew Putnam at -112 was the best value on the board that we could get inside of the made cut market.
Like it. Simple. Cashes on Friday night. Just plot along Putnam.
I gave a made cut bet last time on this show, Geoff. It was not so simple. It was Maverick McNeely. We got there when it was all said and done. It was, I'm hoping that this one's a little bit smoother and we just look on Friday night and, you know, he's in 37th place and we just move on, cash the ticket and start trying to attack the outright board and hope some of those come through.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Spencer. At Tee Off Sports. Check it out. And like I mentioned off the top here, great work, great insight, great writing, and avoids the groupthink. So something I always like there. And I think that's a great point that you made, which, maybe subconsciously I thought that, but, a lot of people drawing a similar conclusion without the data set. I mean, it's probably just as good of a chance. They're almost guessing. Why not, especially in like DFS, why not just pivot off that entirely?
Yeah, I think DFS is a really good angle to take on that too. It's like you're going to see the ownership on Bryson be so much lower than everybody else. And if you're trying to actually win any of those big money contests with large fields, I think you kind of have to avoid the groupthink mentality. But Geoff, you are the GOAT. I appreciate every single time you have me on, and I look forward to hopefully being able to do this again.
Yeah, got a couple more majors this summer. Hopefully we'll bang it out again. Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you, Geoff.
Great stuff there.
I always enjoy it.
I think you might have misspoke calling you the GOAT. That's impossible. Geoff the GOAT? No chance.
Some people, Jason. Some people think differently of me than you do.
I think you're incredible.
Can I just vent for a second? And
Go
this is
for
at
it.
every sports book.
Go
This
for
is
it.
at every sports book.
That's okay. Yeah, go for it.
Because he keeps getting brought up. I thought maybe the day would change it. There's not a single sports book that has Thomas Detry listed in the live market. And his outright number keeps going down. So like when I woke up yesterday and I wanted Thomas Detry top live that correlated with the 175 to 1 outright, well, not an exact correlation, but you know what I mean relative to the other live guys. It's like I get he's not. They've Elvis Smiley. They've remembered Elvis Smiley plays on live, but they don't know that Thomas Detry is on live. And it's midway through Tuesday. And I don't want to be the guy to message the sports book. Because then I feel like the odd is shit, like by default. Because some guy's asking for it. Okay.
That's tough.
Let's go. Let's keep her moving here. Couple people I'm happy to have join us this time. We're doing a 2-for-1 here. A 2-for-1. The Outkick Bets podcast crew, who I am a guest on sometimes, and I always enjoy chopping it up with Mark Harris and Jeffrey Clark. Boys, I'm sure your podcast will be dropping later today on that feed, so everyone can check it out. But Mark, how we feeling? PGA Championship, Aronimick. Everyone's choosing their own adventure on how it's going to play out.
I know that's kind of the theme, right? You get to pick which adventure you want to go on, I guess. Rory a couple hours ago, I guess, said you can just hit the ball with your eyes closed, basically off the tee, and figure it out from there. But yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of excited because I don't remember what this place was like in 2018. I don't remember what I did 8 years ago, let alone 8 days ago at that rate. So it's kind of fun to get to a new spot that we hadn't seen in a long time. And Donald Ross has got some good tracks, so it should be a pleasure. As far as PGA Championships goes, this is as excited as I've been in quite a while I can remember.
Yeah, listen, they've done a great job. Valhalla's an outlier, but if you actually look at the last decade, the course selection, the winners, if you recall the finishes, credit. Like the PGA Championship is almost like a GM of a team that I trust. And even if there's something like I don't get or I don't know, they've earned like the equity from me that they're going to do what the most they can with the canvas that they've been given. They're not the US Open. They're not going to trick it out. They're not going to they don't have a score in mind, like a predetermined, we've got to be around here. Whatever's going to happen is gonna happen. And they seem to be great at that. Geoff, a couple Geoffs on screen together here. That's, I think, a first for us at the Hammer. Jason, how you feeling about PGA Championship week?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on with you. I love all the majors for different reasons. I think this Aronimick is going to produce a thrilling final finish or Sunday round. And like you said, it's a choose your own adventure situation. So I think a lot of different people can win this. A lot of different skill sets can get home. I have a pretty diverse betting card that I'm excited about, and it's propped up because I took Cam Young 70-1 a few weeks ago. So I'm able to kind of just spray it with my other bets.
More than a few weeks ago. As a lot of people, like you said, I mean, joked many times, the futures markets felt like they got squeezed. This year, with the way Fitz and Cam sort of rose from Christmas to now, a lot of fun future tickets. But before we get there, Geoff, why don't you lead us off here? Start this bonanza off. We'll start off. I know you might have a couple, but what do you want here? Your favorite prop that we're gonna document it, right? We're gonna hold you on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Nick Taylor to be the top Canadian. He's the biggest dog north of the border with the most legit wins. He's coming in with pretty good lead-in form, T14 at the Truist last week, and T9 at the Cadillac. He was T17 at last year's Truist, in Philly, which has similar green complexes and as a comp course to Aronimink, at least I think so. It's like an easier, or it's probably an easier version of Aronimink. Speaking of which, an easier version of Aronimink is Oakmont, where Taylor finished T23rd last year for the U.S. Open. Corey Connors is the favorite in this market, but he only has 2 top 20s this season, and he's a flusher perennially, but he's lost strokes ball striking in his last 4 starts. Taylor Pendrith has the putting yips. Shooter Sean is awesome. No beef, but it's his first major, so I'll take my chances that he doesn't have that much experience, or the experience kind of lets him down this week.
Geez, you should come here for a week, because like our commercial breaks are sort of saturated with, like, they do their own cut-ins from like a Canadian broadcast center and update us constantly on the performance of the Canadians. And I'd be one, as a hardo, like, it does nothing for me, but you're deep in that market. I like it, I guess. Yeah. As a Corey Connors fan, I know what you're talking about. I tracked him on the week. Like, he is just lost at the moment. And even though this is an Oak Hill maybe comp where he was deep late there with Scotty and Vic, yeah, I can't fight you on that one. Mark, what do you got here? Favorite prop for the PGA?
Yeah, going to a different reason. Let's go down to Africa. There's only 5 guys in this grouping, and it's kind of a weird one. I like Christian Bezaden, who he has the second highest or the second lowest odds here, plus 280 to win this group. And it's not necessarily a huge vote of confidence for Bez, but more of the 4 guys he needs to beat. Jaden Shaper is the favorite in this group. He has 0 major championship starts, hadn't played in America in over 2 years. Then you have Pot Geeter, of course. He can overpower this place just like any other course on the planet, but his short game isn't there. I don't think he doesn't have the experience Bez does. None of these guys do that I'm going to mention. Then you have Casey Jarvis, who I do really, really like. Every time you turn on the DP World Tour, it seems like he's on the first page of that leaderboard. Super raw talent, young guy, but he's just now getting his feet wet. He's 0 for 2 in majors trying to make the cut. Then last, he's Garrett Higo, who has won top 40 all year, who hasn't seemingly done anything right this year. So it's more of one of those things where Bez has over 20 major championship starts, finished T6 last week in Myrtle. Just did a little bit of digging to kind of back it. Since January 1, he's the 8th best player in golf in the 50 to 100 yard range. Now, some of that is because he's one of the shortest guys on tour too, but he can golf his ball and he can putt. Has a very above average short game. I wouldn't say it's elite by any means, but he's in that 55-60 range of this field around the greens, which you're going to have at any Donald Ross track. You're not going to hit 18 greens out there. Nobody is. So I just like him with the experience. The number's not too bad at plus 280 over there at FanDuel. So jumped on that one for the kind of the favorite prop that stood out for me.
Now, can I ask, and like, it's totally unrelated. It's just a prop.
Yeah.
It should have no bearing, especially a Bezaden prop. It has no bearing on who you think is going to win this golf tournament at all. But in that, like, are you leaning bombers or plotters this week, or would your card have both? Because when you said that, when you just said your prop, the first thing that comes to my mind is almost like a puck eater versus Bez, which you couldn't be at 2 different ends of
exactly
how they might go about playing their own golf ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've kind of gone back and forth. Like I said, kind of from the jump, I don't remember this place. I'm going through some transcripts and stuff. How Rory's obviously an outlier. He's top 5 longest guy out there. I also don't want to fall in the trap to where it's, oh, this isn't a bomber's place. Like everywhere can be a bomber's place. You know, there's not a lot of trees out here. You know, if it's Rory, Bryson, Cam Young, and, you know, Fitz is up there in distance now too. Like if it's those guys, Scotty's not short by any means either. Like, hey, like nobody's shocked at that. So I don't know. I haven't really zoned in on one guy. I'm probably just going to kind of mix the board. I do really like Chris Goddard up this week. I get you would put him in the Bombers spot.
Yeah.
You know, people kind of forget that he's a Jersey boy. He loves this turf. He grew up on bent, that kind of stuff. Missing the greens is going to be a problem this week. You don't have a short game. He has the short game. He can putt. He has the different shots around the green, obviously winning the Scottish Open. So I like him. I kind of like that kind of player where he's maybe not the longest guy out there, but he's definitely not short, but who can kind of plot it away around the greens from that 30 yards and in range.
Beautiful. And Geoff, I know we got you documented top Canadian Nick Taylor, but anything else you want to hit us with on your way out?
Yeah, I'm going to take a stab with Tyrrell Hatton, top live golfer. You can find it anywhere from like 5-1 to plus 650. He's finished higher than John Rahm, the betting favorite in this market, in 3 consecutive majors, and higher than Bryson, the second betting choice in 2 of the last 3. I don't have anything bad to say about John Rahm. He's the rightful favorite, but maybe he's in a bad headspace with all the live drama. Regardless, like Hatton's good enough to outplay him this week, and he's solid throughout the bag. He can kind of score in a bunch of different ways. So I actually have Hatton as closer to 3-1 where Bryson is. So I think there's some value there. I'm going to take a shot with it. He had a chance to win the 2025 U.S. Open in Oakmont, which is another Pennsylvania place, a tough green. So I like Hatton this week in that top live golf marker.
I love Hatton.
Market.
I do have a future on him to win this week. I do worry, like, doesn't have to be like really hard for him. Sometimes that's when you make the comp to last year's U.S. Open, like I don't know that it's going to be as hard, but I'm super excited about Hatton this week. And boys, before we get out of here, why don't you drop me your winner and then toss me a long shot.
Oof.
Loaded
winner,
question.
I haven't really landed on a guy yet. I'm weirdly like floating towards Goddard up, like I said, and Patrick Cantlay, which is just absolutely disgusting stuff.
I'm liking Cantlay too, and I hate myself for it. But
I know, like,
yeah.
if you visit his data golf page, it's like, oh, I have to place a bet on this guy, which I did in the non-Scotty market, but as a fool would do. But yeah, as far as long shot, I don't think I'm going to dip below kind of that 55-60 range where I think I got Goddard up in the without Scheffler market. I think it was right at 60, which that number jumped out, which I like that a lot, but probably not floating beyond 55, 60-ish.
Can't blame
Yeah, I
him.
also got Cantlay on my card. I'm buying the hype with him this week, or I think he's going to, I don't know, at least have a good showing. I like Matt Fitzpatrick. He's roughly the 8th betting choice on the board, and I think he's playing like a top 5 golfer right now, so I think there's value there. I got a couple long shots, but the one that I'm most excited about is Sepp Straka. Got him at 104-1. He won at a comp course last year at the 2025 Truist Championship. He was T7 at the PGA Championship in 2023 at another Donald Ross course. I mean, just a flusher. It's going to be accurate, going to be dialed in with the irons you'd think, and at his best, he can putt his way to victory. So I like Straka at triple digits.
All right, boys. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Jeff. Appreciate you.
Anytime. PGA
Love you, Jeff.
Championship, Aronimik. I don't know. We did 4 hours last time. We're doing 2 hours. I feel like I'm as tired as I was after 4, Jay.
Keep cooking, and a reminder to follow Mark Harris and Jeffrey Clark on Twitter at Jeffrey_Clark. And it's
Mark Harris.
It is Mark Harris.
It is Mark Harris.
Excuse me.
I like that one. I noticed that this morning.
Yeah. Great
All
stuff.
right, boys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate it. Have a great week.
All right. Last guest.
Yeah, we got one more. I did notice in the chat. I swear this wasn't there before.
Yeah, Thomas Dietrich. Yeah.
But again,
say, you have to apologize because you said it's at every book is like this. Well, if other books are not having it, then we do know one book that does have Dietrich. Top live, plus 900.
I don't want to have this deep conversation about this right now because it will backfire. But now I got Dietrich at When I wanted this bet, I did not think Detry would be the same price as Neiman. But yesterday, in all the live markets across the whole internet, they left him out. And then he got steam in some betting markets, and then they realized they left him out. Now he comes in at a shorter number than it should be. That was almost going to be my top. Well, I shouldn't say that because I didn't know what the number was. But I woke up yesterday thirsty for it.
That's all right. All right. It's all right.
Coming up next.
There we go.
Coming up next is a guy who just rips frozen ropes into the gap on Twitter. Like the exit velo of this guy's account. It's almost like a shame he's available to talk to me today because, his bosses should have sent him to the property. Christopher Powers, Golf Digest, C Powers 14 on the X machine. What up, friend?
Thank you so much, and that was a beautiful introduction. I appreciate it.
I don't want to get you in trouble by asking what you're not doing there, but I don't want. I like you too much to get you, so we're not going to answer that.
I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah,
actually.
we'll just I don't know. Crazy. What up, Chris? How's it going? First major of the year that isn't the Masters, so it just feels special. We go to a course we haven't been at in forever, so those unknowns just create a lot of fun, and it's almost like the first thing I ask everybody is how they are dealing with those. I know guys like us that are more, we just put in the hours as opposed to like data junkies, right? We just, take it all in from where you can. The data junkies, I feel like they're in a bit of a tougher spot because they're like beholden to numbers that they don't really have and they don't like to guess. Guys like me and you, we got no problem guessing and guessing wrong.
I feel like that's why we get along. We're narrative guys. We're gut feeling guys. I love your amateur psychology, especially during the NFL season. So I think there's a lot of that this week, especially with one of my picks here. So, but just to go to your point about how, we haven't been here in a while, Aronimink. I don't know. I was just watching some video. I'm obviously watching live from all day. And I mean, between the clubhouse, between the tree line fairways, the long rough, it just feels very familiar, especially as a Northeast guy. It feels like a course I play, every other weekend. Feels like Oak Hill. We were just there. It feels like Baltusrol, which I have the pleasure of playing a couple times a year. So it feels familiar, even though we haven't been there in a while.
I would say, I don't know if you saw, I was smiling a lot during that because it gives me the feels as well. I guess it's just like relative to like what we play and what we know. So to
even
me,
the clubhouse, looking at the clubhouse, it's like
that's golf.
That's golf right there.
But like that, I guess, your version of golf is just like what you grew up playing. And that is right. These Northeast golf courses, maybe not as many trees as we'd like here, but you get those classical feels. That's that's just what I'm privy to here in the city. So yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite type of golf. Do you have a lean though yet in terms of like the bomber, plotter, or are you just going to mix bag it?
I heard you ask the guys before me that question, and it does feel like a mixed card right now. I am leaning pretty heavily towards Fitzpatrick, who seems like the best of both of those worlds, a plotter who hits it a really long way now. I'm seeing that 70-1 next to Sam Burns' name, and it's just kind of speaking to me, guy who probably had it kind of stolen from him at Oakmont last year with that hydroplane shot late in the round. And then I'm looking at a guy like, I'm half joking about it on Twitter, but I'm kind of serious about Michael Thorbjornsen at 200-1. And that's a guy who obviously bombs the ball from the Northeast. So I guess a kind of a mixture of both.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost, sometimes I get like stubborn and will pick a lane, but I don't know. I'm having an easier time betting props than I am making outright bets, which is hard for me. And I jug. It's like a point of pride, not a point of pride, but I got such great future card that I'm almost feel paralyzed as to like what I'm supposed to do now. But I love betting on golf so much that like I'm not just gonna like Baroff comes in. He's like, I got the futures. I'm just gonna sit on them. And I'm like, futures, I bet these at Christmas. I'm not saying the money doesn't matter, but like the money I laid out at Christmas, like that's like losing money on wild card weekend. Like it's gone. Now, granted, it's Cam Young, it's Fitzpatrick tickets, but like the outlay for them, doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
I appreciate the Baroff discipline. That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it. Yeah, and for my own peace of mind, I feel like I'm probably gonna lean Bombers.
Yeah.
I think for my own peace of mind, I have to, because that's just how I bet this sucker. But let's not keep the people waiting anymore. I don't see any dartboards around, so this one comes natural. Christopher, what's your favorite prop for the week?
Yeah, I'm leaning very heavily towards a top 20 bet on Patrick Reed, and I've already heard the concerns, and I think they're valid. He obviously has not played golf since the Masters. Now, he's not Rory McIlroy, but Rory McIlroy took a month off before the Masters, and he won. That served him okay. But I don't really – that's not a concern for me with Reed. I think he never really turns off competitor mode. So I have no doubts he's been grinding away and preparing.
I do not like getting – I want glimpses into Team Reed in this downtime, and I'm not getting them. I'm not
well, I actually – that's kind of where I was about to go, like – Masters, he had the press conference. He did media. He had some distractions. This week, I mean, we like to find these under the radar guys, the guys no one's quote unquote talking about. He kind of fits that bill this week, and he's just, kind of flying solo in there under the radar. He's double the odds he was at the Masters when the whole world was on him. I think that's kind of where he thrives, and he thrives in the Northeast. Another concern people have pointed out to me, one top 20 since the 2021 British Open in a non-Masters major. Well, guess where that came? That came at Oak Hill in the Northeast. He tied for 23rd at Oakmont last year. Played great at Shinnecock all those years ago. I know that's a super different style of golf course. You want to go all the way back to a course I mentioned before, Baltusrol 2016. He tied for 13th when he was a nobody back then. So this is just the environment we were talking about when you first had me on. It's kind of an environment he really thrives in. Winged Foot, he played great at Winged Foot in 2020. So I think a top 20 is not asking much. It's plus money. It's plus 220 at FanDuel. That's the best number I've seen. That is including ties. I'm sure you can get a better number if you want to get in the dead heat next week.
We need those ties.
Yeah, we need the ties. So yeah, I like it a lot.
So I've been thinking about Patrick Reed, as I often do. I'm a fan. Part of me, like, just what I would bet if I just heard a story that, like, Reed hasn't played golf in a month, but he'd been to Philly like 3 times. Like he's had this Airbnb like for a month now here, and he's so. I'm not saying he's golf fans would know him, but he's got this like body that doesn't scream like professional athlete anywhere he goes. I don't know. Part of me, I agree. He does not stop grinding. Like, I don't think he's taken days off.
No.
It's just that whole like, you cannot replicate like a competitive 6-footer. Even Tiger, like nothing does that. Right? Now I guess Tiger can't even play for money that could replicate that because he doesn't need any of it. Under the radar. My only question: are you betting him to win?
I think I'm probably going to. I saw an 83-1, probably in each way.
So I mean, you've made the case that it's like you've made the case that the course fits, the region fits, that like comparatively to the Masters number, there's inherent value. For me, the problem is this stupid game of like liking 15, 20 golfers, having to clip that down to 5 or 6. It gets to the point where you are then just looking for reasons not to bet a guy. And I feel like I bet Patrick Reed at the Masters, but I feel like now I just have the reason is just like, you got to play. You got to play.
I understand that. But again, I have no doubts he's probably simulated around. He's probably played one ball multiple times to get ready. And you said, I'm sure he's been here at some point in the last month.
Yeah, he has to have been. If I love Patrick Reed, I would be crushed if I actually found out, like someone on the ground, that he never went with all of the weeks free.
Yeah,
I'd be
that'd
shocked.
be a great question for someone to ask on site. Unfortunately, I'm not there.
We're not going there.
One other narrative play I just like for him. I think, I followed him at Shinnecock all those years ago. It was a rough scene. Now he still played great. I understand Philly fans are Philly fans, but I think he might be received well this week there. Obviously, he said what he said at the Masters. He kind of PGA Tour loyalists would probably appreciated what he said. He said that's the best tour in the world. That's the best competitive environment, all that. So I think I'm not going to say that they're going to be rooting him on, but I don't think he's going to be getting like chirped like he did in New York all those years ago. So, and I think he just thrives in that kind of, Philly, New York, Boston, whatever, they treat it like a, Game 7 type atmosphere. And I think he loves that. So again, that's a narrative gut feel. But that's another reason I like him this week.
Christopher, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you taking the time here to join us, rounding out the show. Patrick Reed, top 20. Haven't seen him in a while. Maybe he's dropped a few pounds.
That'd be nice.
No, I honestly, I'd argue maybe that'd be a negative, right?
Yeah.
As golf bettors, we don't like our golfers like losing
I hope
20.
he's not skinny on Golf Channel later if they show him.
Okay, what's the worst bet on the board? And is it Jordan Spieth to win?
Yeah.
Oh no, you tweeted that you tweeted something today about the vibes on Spieth under radar coming up here. No, I thought I saw that.
I don't think that was me.
Okay, wasn't you? Trying to remember.
Might have been about Reed.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I thought it was Spieth, but it was actually Reed.
Some people thought it was Spieth. It was Reed.
I was too lazy to figure it out myself. I just dipped the comments and I got led wrong, but I was right on the tweet. Powers, you the man. Everyone follow him at CPowers14. I'm telling you, you will see that exit velo come up this weekend.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Later.
it.
All the best. Jason, how we doing?
One more thing before we head out.
Thumbs up, sub. You can Irish goodbye. You don't even have to say goodbye. You just hit the like and click X. You don't even have to stay for my pick.
If you're watching after the fact as well, do us a favor, drop a comment down below. If you're betting, if you have your own personal bets we haven't talked about here today, please drop them in the comment section. Finally, before we head out, Geoff, I have a question for you.
Yeah. Have I gotten my boosts yet?
Just don't worry about that quickly. Have you seen the shaved ice and mustard on Twitter?
What on earth is that? I know what you're talking about. And then she the same girl who had a mustard slushy, shaved ice, was at the Sky Dome yesterday and posted a glizzy-filled mustard dog.
She obviously just likes mustard. I don't think there's that much wrong with that, but I would try it.
The slushy?
Yeah, why not?
I would barf.
Maybe we go to a game and we try it together.
There is, Jason, I don't do that sort of thing. I don't mean I don't do what I don't want to do. I'll help people who need help, even if I got to get off my fat ass. I mean, when it comes to something like that,
it's a hypothetical.
I'm not experimental.
It's a hypothetical.
There's no hypothetical. Would you eat an ice cream slushie? And it's F no.
Would you?
And I don't, you know what? I'll go as far to say I would not even sit beside someone eating one.
Okay. Would you? What if we were to bet something together? Loser has to eat the slushie.
No.
Okay. So the pain and suffering of me having to eat it is not enough to risk you having to eat it.
I think But remember when Pizzola made me take a bite of banana marinara?
Yeah.
I went right to the garbage. I was ready to heave.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it for me.
I would love to try it. I'll try it. Colt, you're welcome on the marketing team anytime. Anyways, let's wrap this up, Geoff.
My computer stopped or kind of froze midway through the show.
All good. All good.
So that was a little annoying.
I thought you did a great job. One more question before you.
I could have been better at the transitions.
Yeah,
you know what? For the next one, I'm going to write out one-liners.
We'll work on it together, Geoff. I just have one more question. What was on the paper? That's just skewing on the
Well,
desk.
I'm a doodler, but just some things. If there's something I want to just ask someone or a little note, if I got to kill time later, and there's a conversation piece, that I'd like to have.
Got it. Well, how about this? Next time you come on the Hammer Daily, maybe bring Pat on as well, and we'll all try the shave ice with mustard. Sounds like a plan?
No.
All right. Let's sign off. Let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Wait. I don't get to give my pick?
Oh, yeah, you get to give your pick. Sorry, I forgot about that. I don't know. You're like fumbling around on your phone. I thought you were ready to go.
Well, I had notes.
Well, we're losing viewers at exponential rate, Geoff. So get your pick
because
in
I
now.
told them to hit. They're following my orders. They hit
you
the
told
like
them to
and they
leave.
left.
Why would you tell them to leave if you didn't give out your
No,
pick?
I said you could Irish goodbye. Listen, no one is like the market won't move.
Yeah, but the people are going to miss it. And
it's no secret. Last year it was like ride or die. Joachim Neiman. He'd never finished top 10 in a major before, Jason, ever. And I thank God he did that last year at the PGA, although through ties. There are a lot of different markets for which I'm going to be messing with Neiman this week. That should be no secret to anybody that is a fan of mine. But Joachim Neiman, low South American, minus 105 over at the Duel. But you could, if you were like, look, you could find it a little better. But we'll take minus 105 here. Nico Echeverria, Johnny Vegas. No. Joachim Neiman. How do I put this? There's no denying that he has not been the golfer that he was a year ago, but as spoken about earlier, this is his first major of the year. I actually think coming in as under the radar as he is this week is going to do him wonders. I'm very bullish on Neiman. In fact, it's the only outright bet I've made this week. Joachim Neiman, 125 to 1. Most people are laughing at me as they hear that, but as I joked, I wanted to sign a 10-year contract at 40 to 1, Jason. So I can't turn this down, and for my own peace of mind, I have to take it. But we're just gonna rip a bloop single over second base. Neiman, top South African. I would lay I wish they could give me Neiman top South African by a field goal as an alt line.
Okay.
But that's where we are.
Maybe that's the next evolution to golf betting. Someone in the chat asking for all the picks run down. That was Jeff's Neiman, low South African, minus 105. Yeah. I'll quickly run them down here. Pat Mayo had Straka, top Austrian, minus 225. He also liked Scotty Scheffler at 6 to 1. Ryan Noonan had loved Rory, loved everything Rory. Rory top Euro, plus 380. Rory top 10, plus 105. Byron Lindeque, the model maniac, had Xander Schauffele, top 20, minus 130. Alex Blickle, at Alex Blickle 1 on Twitter, had Sepp Straka as well. He liked him in the T10 at plus 550. I believe he also liked Morikawa to win, but Geoff, you can correct me on that. That's what I have written in the notes, but this is obviously very fast pace as we go here. Sia Nejad had Alex Fitzpatrick, top 40, plus 140. That's Alex, not Matt. He also had top Oceanic. Adam Scott, plus 250. Ryan Baroff, Hogard, low Danish, minus 110, paired with Hideki, top Japanese, low Japanese. It means the same thing. That's Hogard, minus 140, Hideki, minus 125. You can get that around 160. If you shop around, you can get that plus 208 combined together. You can also stick in a low senior with Stuart Sink, who is minus 165 out there. Golden Pants, almost below 2 handicap, has Goddard up top 5, 13 to 1. That one's a fun one. Matt Vincenzi, top South American, Neiman as well. And he also Cantley, top 10 at, I believe, was 4 to 1. Andy Lack, Thomas Gentry, top 20. Don't have a price there. Didn't write it down. Shop that around. Skyler Hook had top African, pot getter, plus 340. Top South African, Neiman, minus 105. That's plus 759 available on FanDuel. Also, when FanDuel posts the dual forecast, you can get Bryson and Brooks Koepka dual forecast at around 350, 360 to 1. I would wait to bet that until it's posted at FanDuel because, as we saw during the Masters, the dual forecasts are often better on FanDuel than they are on the Green Book. They actually are better on FanDuel than they are on the Green Book. They're just posted a little bit later. Spencer Aguiar had Putnam to make the cut, minus 112. Mark Harris had Christian Bezuidenhout, top African, plus 250. Jeffrey Clark had Nick Taylor, top Canadian, plus 250. Chris Powers, Patrick Reed, top 20, plus 220. Then obviously you, Jeff, had Neiman, low African. I believe it was plus 105 or minus 105. Then finally I'll close it out here.
South American.
Did I say African? Sorry, South American. Yeah. Neiman, top South American, minus 105. I'll close it out here with, I believe I gave it out last show as well.
I think you'll get whole. If you do it every major, I think you'll come out plus money.
I got it. Scotty, top 40, minus 750. Scotty to win.
I thought you were going to get
Scotty to win. What is it? Plus 480. And that's
Is that
it.
what it is? Top 40 minus 750?
Yeah.
Like I'm not even knocking it. Like I'm sure like there's a golf Fozon out there who's.
If you saw $10 on the ground, would you pick it up? If you saw $100 on the ground. Anyways, bet responsibly as always. Thank you for FanDuel for sponsoring us. We appreciate this. Check out FanDuel, FanDuel.com/forward progress. Jeff, take us out here.
All right. This was an incredible golf show, but we couldn't end this thing without talking more about Dinger Tuesday.
You don't have to do the ad read. It's all good.
PGA Championship is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, big hits get even bigger with Dinger Tuesday on FanDuel. Customers choose their own reward every Tuesday to use on home run bets. How will you play your game? Option 1, the bet reset. Use this on your wager and you'll get refunded in bonus bets if your bet loses. Option 2, a 50% profit boost. Make your bet, activate the boost, and if it hits, that's extra winnings. Mark your choice, and the reward will be ready to use on your next home run bet. You know who you shouldn't bet? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. On pace for 8 home runs this year, Jason.
But who should you bet, which was best in market on FanDuel and also good according to the numbers I was looking at?
Shohei Ohtani, I'm told. I've heard of him. He's apparently really good at baseball. Just visit FanDuel.com. Oh, my page froze.
/forward progress.
/forward progress to reward your home run bets every Dinger Tuesday. Oh, I thought the page froze. Play ball with the home run for home runs on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. We love the MLB. Disclaimer, 21 plus, select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus, DC, KY, Wyoming, opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and ticket, token expiration, leg requirements, max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbookfanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat Connecticut. mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland, our great friends. Visit Gambling Helpline MA. It sounds like Massachusetts. Call 800-327-5050. To the people in the Mass, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY New York. Hopefully that operation still works under Mamdani. He probably canceled it. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. We're done. That was better than the last time.
Yeah. And there's tea time starting to roll out, so let's do this thing. You want to head out here, or do you want to react to the tea times quickly?
No, I don't.
Spieth, Rahm, and Rory are pairing together.
Just read me out a couple more.
I don't even know where to find it. There's people are just dropping in the chat.
Spieth, Rahm, and Rory.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, I'm not going through tea times.
Young, Bradley, and Thomas tee off at 1:54 p.m. Schauffele, Koepka, Hatton tee off at 8:29 a.m. on Thursday.
Who's with Scheffler?
McIlroy, Spieth, Rahm. Those are the only tee times. Scheffler, Fitzpatrick, Rose, 2:05 p.m. on Thursday. So we got 4 so far.
I'm trying to figure out if there's any rhyme or reason to these.
I don't know. You're the golf guy.
No, I know. I'm not asking you. I'm asking myself. No, I don't really want to think about it.
All right, let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to smash like button on the way out. Jeff, any final thoughts?
I took my headphone off. I didn't hear the last question.
Any final? I'm in the room with you. You should be able to hear me. Any final thoughts? Do you want to just sign it off here?
I will get a banger weekend.
All right.
I think the scoring is going to be low.
All right. Thank you to all the guests who came on today. This has been the PGA Championship Extravaganza presented by FanDuel on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. Please follow or please like and subscribe. It goes a long way here on the channel. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to Geoff on Golf's PGA Championship Extravaganza. We hope